Hey guys, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto was reincarnated as the Harem king in a world of beautiful ninjas? If you enjoy this video, then please like, share, and do comment. And also check the description to reach the creator of this beautiful creation. So let us start the story.
In the Valley of the End, sounds of explosions were heard as a great duel ensued. Sasuke Uchiha, last of the once mighty Uchiha clan, was fighting against his rival, best friend, the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, Naruto Uzumaki. When Sasuke Uchiha was offered training and more power under one of the most dangerous criminals in the ninja world, Orochimaru of the Sannin, he gave in to his temptation and left the Leaf Village, but the fifth Hokage, Tsunade Senju, had dispatched a recovery team to bring Sasuke Uchiha back. The team consisted of its leader, recently made Chunin, Shikamaru Nara, his best friend Choji Akamichi, the hot-headed Kiba Inuzuka, the prodigy Neji Hyuga, and of course, Naruto Uzumaki. The young Genin Rock Lee also came to aid the team. The team, however, was faced with difficult challenges as Orochimaru's loyal minions, the Sound Four, had fought the team members so that Sasuke can reach their master. The Leaf team held their ground, but the price was high. Neji got a hole in his chest and Choji nearly died from chakra exhaustion. Kiba and Shikamaru would have been killed had it not been for the timely arrival of the Sand siblings. Now, Naruto used the fox's power and was in his two tails chakra cloak fighting Sasuke's second stage of the curse seal. "Come back, Sasuke. Don't make me hurt you." Naruto pleaded with his friend to return, but the Uchiha did not care one tiny bit. "Why do you care so much about me? I had to kill Itachi, to avenge my clan. And if I have to leave the village to do it, then by all means I'll do it." Sasuke shouted back to his rival and best friend. "Don't do it, Sasuke. Orochimaru is only going to use you. Come back with me, to the village. To Sakura, Kakashi-sensei and our friends. Do you have any idea how much you hurt Sakura? Who cares what that pink-haired hoe thinks?" Sasuke replied, shocking Naruto. "My revenge is all that matters to me, Naruto. Why do you care so much about me? Because you are my best friend." "Best friend, huh? Then, I'll just have to sever that bond." Sasuke shouted as he made a Chidori on his left hand and surged forward to Naruto. "Here I come, Naruto." "Sasuke." Naruto shouted the Uchiha's name, the Rasengan spiraling in his right arm as the two powerful jutsu clashed and they were engulfed in an orb of light. Naruto had foolishly chosen not to harm Sasuke when the latter fully intended to do so, and as such, in a small burst the Chidori pierced the Rasengan. Even though the Rasengan was the more stronger jutsu, Naruto did not use it to its full power, and the Uchiha cut off the blonde Uzumaki's right arm and pierced his former friend's right side. In a loud splash of water, Naruto fell down into the waters as Sasuke, tears flowing down his cheeks for killing his friend, had his eyes changed to the Mangekyo. Naruto was in his mindscape with the fox. The previous damage of Sasuke piercing a Chidori through his chest combined with the heavy loss of blood, the right arm and damage to the right side of his face, including the skull and brains, was too much for even the fox's chakra to heal. "Is this it? Is this how I die? Without becoming the Hokage?" Naruto thought as his heartbeat was getting slower and his body colder. "No," spoke a mysterious voice, and Naruto could see a bright light over him. "Your time has not yet come, child." The mighty nine-tailed fox could feel his chakra getting absorbed and his life force with it. No, what is this? Am I actually dying? Curse you, fourth Hokage, for putting me in this. Curse you. Back in the real world, the waters were glowing red and Sasuke looked back to see it originating from where Naruto was. Suddenly, a bright crimson beam shot out to the sky and left elsewhere. Seconds later, Sasuke heard a roaring sound and he saw the bloodied form of Naruto gave him a hard left hook. Naruto's bones in his left arm were broken and both he and Sasuke fell unconscious. Kakashi Hitaki arrived to see the catastrophe caused by his two students, and then, he saw his two students. "No, Naruto. If only I arrived earlier, you wouldn't be like this." Kakashi summoned a big dog to carry Naruto, and both he and the dog were returning to the leaf. Kakashi was dragging the rogue Uchiha through the mud, not caring what the people of the leaf will think. "I need to get Naruto to the hospital ASAP." Far in the west, even farther than the land of wind and the land of earth, the red beam of chakra traveled to a place surrounded by a volcanic range. The beam reached the top of a structure, to a tomb that had obsidian for its foundation and made of silver. The red beam reached the tomb, and in the next, the cover was opened. An ethereal hand crept out as blood-red eyes peered out. So, my lovely Ishtar, one, has chosen an heir for me after 10,000 years. The figure spoke as he turned to mist and looked out towards the horizon. The age of the Otsutsuki is over. The time for the lions of Arcadia to rise once more has begun. Kakashi had reached the gates of the Leaf Village as the two Chunin guards, Azumo and Kotetsu, came to meet him. Kakashi was panting as he was tired from the journey but had strength to speak. Azumo, Kotetsu. Mission was a success. Put Naruto in the hospital now. On it, Kakashi. Azumo replied as he carried Naruto to the hospital while Kakashi and Kotetsu brought Sasuke to jail. Seeing her sensei, Sakura ran to meet him just as the Chunin took the unconscious Uchiha. Kakashi-sensei, you brought Sasuke back, but where is Naruto? In the hospital, Kakashi replied, shocking Sakura. Sasuke did a bad number on him. Naruto lost his right arm, got a hole in his chest and a scar on his right side. What? Sasuke wouldn't do that, Sakura said to her sensei, not believing Sasuke could do that to their teammate. I'm afraid it's the truth, Sakura. And I don't even know the conditions of Shikamaru, Kiba, Choji and Neji. Come, I have to report this to the Hokage. Kakashi replied to his pink-haired student who followed her sensei. At night, in his secret lair, Danzo Shimura, the darkness of the ninja world, looked at the report given to him by the Jonin Kakashi. His Foundation ninjas had managed to get a copy of Kakashi's report before Tsunade could inform them. In his twisted mind, dozens of ideas were formulating. It appears that the nine-tailed fox is no longer. A shame. I would have wanted for the fox to be alive so that I can use it for the village. No matter. The young Uzumaki could still be of use. The child of the fourth Hokage and the Red Death will certainly prove useful for me, but he will not join me willingly, nor can I just kidnap him. Tsunade would be on me. Danzo kept on thinking on a way to get Naruto to his side. Of course, Danzo exclaimed in his mind as the perfect idea popped up in his head. He just had to wait for tomorrow and the blonde Uzumaki would be his most powerful tool and perhaps successor. The next day, serves that bastard right, spoke Kiba Inuzuka. After all these injuries, he deserves to rot in jail for all I care. Sharingan be damned, yeah, especially after what he did to Naruto. Choji spoke in a sad tone as he remembered looking at Naruto's condition. Will Naruto be okay? The voice of Hinata Hyuga spoke out. I don't know Hinata. He lost his right arm for heaven's sake. Can't believe I once had a crush on Sasuke. Ino Yamanaka said as she felt disgusted at herself for once liking the Uchiha. Sakura, though still unbelieving that Sasuke could do this, had to agree with her friends. Then, the doors were opened by two cloaked masked Anbu and in came Danzo Shimura. Hey, who are you? Kiba demanded. Let's just say, someone who has use of you. Danzo spoke as he used the Koto Amatsukami on the genins. The second stage of his plan was done with the first stage done early in the morning. Now, he just needed to wait for steps 3 and 4. Little did old Danzo know, however, was that destiny had a different course for Naruto. Naruto was lying on his bed, thinking of the past and his current condition. He held back in the last moment and he lost an arm for it. Suddenly, the doors opened and in came the other genins. Guys? What are you? Slap. Naruto didn't get to finish his sentence as Sakura Haruno gave him a hard slap to the face. You monster. How could you do that to Sasuke? What? Sakura, what do you mean? Because of you, Sasuke is terribly injured and in jail. What? It's better than going to Orochimaru, right? And look at me. I lost an arm. Who cares about you, Naruto? You're just some monster. Sakura spoke harshly, shocking Naruto. My mom was right, you're just a demon, Naruto. You hurt your friends. How could you? Kiba then punched Naruto in the stomach. It was fate that a monster like you could hurt Sasuke, a friend, like that. And Neji gave a strike on Naruto's shoulder. I can't believe I had a crush on a demon like you. Hinata spoke and the others spoke very harsh words as well, hurting Naruto. What is going on here? Demanded the voice of Tsunade Senju as she along with Kakashi Hitaki and Shikamaru entered. What are you doing to Naruto? Shikamaru spoke as he could see the hurt form of Naruto on the ground. We're doing what's right. He hurt Sasuke, spoke Sakura, supported by Ino and then the rest. Are you all insane? Look at his condition and compare it with Sasuke. At least Sasuke is still in one piece. Naruto lost an arm. Naruto doesn't matter, you lazy Nara. What matters is that Sasuke gets what he deserves. Ino shouted at her teammate. The only thing Sasuke Uchiha deserves is a life sentence, spoke Tsunade. Now get out, all of you. Sakura, I'm disappointed in you. Kakashi spoke to his student as she left. How could Sakura think of only Sasuke when Naruto is like this? Granny Tsunade, thank you for coming here. You can fix my arm, right? Naruto naively spoke. Naruto, I have good news and bad news. What? You can fix my arm, right? Give me a new one. I mean, you're the best medical ninja to have ever lived. No, there are some things which not even I can fix. The good news is, the fox is dead. I don't know how, but it is dead. What? Amazing. That means, the villagers won't hate me anymore. The bad news is, she exhaled deeply at what she was about to say. Because of severely harming the Uchiha despite him being rogue, the council has voted that, coupled with using the fox's chakra, you are no longer fit to a ninja of the village. What? Spoke Naruto, Kakashi and Shikamaru all at once. Granny, it's a joke, right? Tell me it's all just one big bad joke. I'm afraid not. I tried my best to stop them, Naruto. I really did, but the council has unanimously voted that your chakra be sealed. I'm sorry, Naruto. Tsunade spoke as the sealing team moved in. She walked outside, put her hands on her ears to try her best to ignore Naruto's screams of despair and agony. That night, Naruto could not sleep. This was the worst day in his life. All of his friends save Shikamaru, Nara and Rock Lee had abandoned him to side with Sasuke. His chakra was destroyed and his ninja status removed. He lost his arm and was basically a cripple at this point. His crush Sakura had broken his heart. Hinata confessed she liked the blonde but spat that love. Kiba and Neji had beaten him pretty hard and he could not forget the harsh words from the other genin. What's the point anymore? My friends betrayed me, my ninja rank gone. My chakra destroyed and my dream to become Hokage, shattered. What point do I have in living? Naruto thought in despair just as the door to his room was opened. Naruto looked up thinking it was one of the nurses who would bring him the same garbage for food, but it was not. Instead, were two short men with coal-like skin, hairy beards and leather clothing. Who are you? Naruto asked to the two strangers. Well, my name is Brock and this is my brother Itri, too. We're dwarves in service of Enoch, king of Arcadia, 3. Now quiet kid, we're getting you out. The dwarf replied as he removed the cuffs binding Naruto to the bed. Dwarves? King? What do you want with me? Naruto asked but the dwarf shushed him. I said quiet kid, all will be explained soon. Brock said again and he and his brother led Naruto out of the hospital, with Itri carrying Naruto. A funny scene to behold as Itri was only half the size of Naruto but clearly physically stronger. The two dwarves ran out of the hospital halls, filled with unconscious doctors, nurses and patients. The two reached a chariot made of iron and they sat Naruto down. The two dwarves then drove away, past sleeping civilians and ninja in the streets of the village, past the gate and to lands the world had forgotten existed. It was 8 days since the dwarf brothers Brock and Itri took Naruto away from the Leaf Village. The chariot carrying Naruto was running at a pace faster than usual because behind them was a squad of Leaf Anbu chasing them. The squad, led by Yugo Izuki, had been hunting them once Tsunade had given the orders and they had found their location just 4 days ago and are now engaged in a long chase. Damn these Leaf bastards. Brother, think you can get them off our tracks? Spoke Brock to his brother Itri who nodded. Itri took out a bow and a large black arrow. Kill these dumb asses like the cockroaches they are, brother. Itri shot one of the arrows and in just the span of a blink, one of the Anbu was mussing his upper body. The other Anbu were shocked but they quickly got over it and continued chasing Naruto. Now, they were far out west, to territory not properly mapped by explorers and were getting closer to a mountain range that looked like a circle. Itri fired another shot and killed another Anbu. One of the Leaf Anbu then shot a fireball, hitting the chariot at its wheels, making it fall. The two dwarves managed to protect Naruto from further harm and Brock ran fast, carrying Naruto on his back. "Sound the horn, brother. Alert the sirens," shouted Brock, and Itri did so. A loud, ear-piercing sound like the roar of a wild beast echoed throughout the area. Brock and Itri, with the former carrying Naruto, were suddenly surrounded by the leaf Anbu. Yugo took her katana and pointed it at Brock's bearded face. "You will hand over Naruto Uzumaki to us now, creature. And do tell why, Missy," retorted Brock. "He is a ninja of the Leaf Village and you have kidnapped him." "Really now? As far as I'm concerned he was one. Until of course, your village decided to remove his chakra after a successful job well done. The business of our village is not part of your business. Now hand him over to us before I decide to kill you." "Well, that's a nice offer and all, Missy, but I think they would like a word with you." "They?" Yugo simply asked in confusion, just as loud screeches were heard. Then, half-woman half-bird hybrid creatures swooped down and attacked the Anbu. In the midst of the confusion, Brock and Itri retreated to the mountain wall while the sirens tore the Anbu to shreds. Yugo put up a good fight but was ultimately subdued. The last of her squadmates was killed and the sirens had her. "Time to die, little girl," spoke one of the Furies, but just as she was about to kill Yugo, a horrifying voice called out, "Stop." The sirens looked to see a spectral shadow and they knelt before it. "My king, what will you have your warriors do?" spoke the siren as the shadow walked closer. "This one is useful. Take her for interrogation at my tomb," the shadow commanded, and the sirens obeyed. "Time to meet you, my heir." Naruto was being led inside a great pyramid-like structure. "Where am I?" he asked, having just woken from his sleep. "Welcome to the ruins of the city of Arcadia, boy," replied Brock. "Arcadia? Never heard of it," Naruto simply said. "Oh, you'll learn everything you need to know about us soon enough, kid. Now the king wants to meet you this moment. That building you see is called a ziggurat and his spirit awaits." Brock and Itri then moved quickly inside the ziggurat, climbing its long stairs, and finally stood before a tomb. Behind the tomb was a throne and a shadow came inside. "All hail the king of Arcadia," Brock said as he knelt. The shadow then went to the throne and sat on it. The misty, dark mass eventually forming a human-like shape, eventually becoming a human. "So, you are my heir," spoke the soul of the man. He had fair skin, black eyes, black hair, and was robed in royalty. "I am Enoch Balier, the king of Arcadia. So you're the boss of these two?" Naruto asked as he stood up. "King, there is a difference, child. Thank you for your services, dwarves. You may leave," Enoch commanded, and the dwarves did so. "Looking at you, you don't seem so special, but I sense deep within you great potential and a great affinity for the magic arts." "Magic? What are you even talking about? Just who are you and what do you want with me? I thought I already addressed myself. They didn't tell me you were somewhat deaf." "I'm not deaf." "Then you already know me, child. I am Enoch, king of Arcadia. At least, I used to be before I died." Died? Yes. What you see before is my soul. I can carry on, go to the afterlife, be reunited with my friends, families and loved ones, but I didn't. Why, you may ask, and the answer is simple. Arcadia needs a king and it has chosen you, Naruto Uzumaki. How did you know my name? Once it became clear to me that you were to be my heir, I decided to do my research on your history. And what I found was nothing short of shocking. A disgraced ninja, the vessel of a demon, the village scapegoat, and a few other things. Amazing how the politicians of the village even allowed such treatment considering who your parents were. My parents? I have parents? Had. Who are they? Did they love me? Why did this happen to me? Indeed, they loved you, child, like any parent would. Your parents were, how should I put this? Your mother's name was Kushina Uzumaki and your father was the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. What? Shouted Naruto. My parents. Then why did this happen to me? Why am I the Jinchuriki to the Nine Tails? Why did they choose me? One question at a time, child. To understand this, we must go back to the night it began. Enoch then recounted of the Nine Tails attack, his parents' deaths, and eventually the extremely stupid actions taken by the village leaders to protect him. The third Hokage, in order to protect you from your father's enemies, gave you your mother's name without even so much a thought as to those hunting down members of your clan. Enoch said, shocking Naruto. I have a clan? Lessons for another time, child. Now, I have things that need my attention. Do not walk away from this room lest you earn the wrath of my tomb guards. Enoch then disappeared in a black mist to attend other matters. Enoch appeared before the sirens who were interrogating Yugo Izuki. The sirens knelt before their king as he walked closer to the leaf ninja. Has she revealed anything of use? No, my king. She refuses to talk and I believe torture is the next best method, replied the siren captain. That wouldn't be necessary, captain. I will get what is needed. Enoch then stood about 3 feet away from Yugo and misty tentacles were moving closer to the leaf nin. I don't care who you are or what powers you have, but I will never talk. Yugo declared bravely, but bravery was useless compared to great power. Your mouth will not, but your mind will. And Enoch, using his magic, then ripped out all the knowledge Yugo had concerning the shinobi world. Yugo was exhausted from the painful experience. She wanted to die and not reveal any more secrets since the man in front of her had powers she had not known. But Enoch still had use for her. Put her in the metamorphosis chamber. Her skills mixed with that of a Shoggoth shall prove useful. Yes, my king. The siren captain then proceeded to do as told. Brock, Eitri. Yes, my lord? Brock asked as he stood forward. Tell all the dwarves. Restart the forges. Mine the lands near the Rune River for metal. Complete the works that I ordered you to stop long ago. Build me an army worthy of Arcadia. It will be done as you instruct, my king. Brock then left with his brother to inform his dwarf leaders of the new command. Tomorrow, I will start his training and in 3 years, he will lay the foundations and rebuild Arcadia. The time of the Otsutsukis is over. The age of the lions of Arcadia begins. A week had passed since Naruto stayed in Arcadia. During the past week, Enoch had begun Naruto's training in the ways of magic and alchemy. Though Naruto could no longer wield chakra, it didn't mean he was useless. Naruto had huge potential in the magic arts, but he was unruly and loud. Enoch needed great patience when it came to teaching Naruto. Again, Enoch said as Naruto focused his magical energy to bend the fire on the small candle in front of him. The flame started to bend, but Naruto's focus broke. Sighs again. Damn it, old man, why do I have to learn the basics instead of going to the cool spells? Naruto shouted at Enoch, who proceeded to hit the blonde on the head with an iron staff. Hey, that hurts. And I told you to stop calling me old man. Enoch simply said as he composed himself. Try again. But it's so annoying. It wouldn't be had you been patient, but I suppose impatience is a trait that runs deep in your clan. Particularly from your mother. Hey, it's not. I would be a better ninja if the academy instructors taught me properly, but they never did. Are you sure? Last I checked you were the class clown. Always goofing off, never paying attention in class, seeking the attention of a pink-haired girl. Though you blame the academy instructors for things like sabotaging your grades, when I checked your memories I found no such evidence. You simply lack the mind to pay attention to detail. This is why ninjas have such a high death rate. But it's so boring. On the surface it may, but even what we call boring can be interesting to others. And also to us if listened properly. There is no boring in this world. People only choose to listen to what they want to hear. Enoch, after giving this little lecture, had lit 2 more candles. Now try with 3. What? I can't even do it with 1. Your reserves are large. Perhaps by focusing on using more, maybe you can use magic to a better extent. Begin. Hidden Leaf Village. About 2 weeks passed since Naruto's supposed kidnapping. The first days at first were relatively peaceful. The people of the Leaf celebrated the disappearance of the Nine Tails vessel, but trouble soon followed. For one, Orochimaru's minions had broken Sasuke Uchiha out of his prison cell and Sasuke defected from the Leaf. Second were the border skirmishes with Stone and Lightning. Third was that their economic ties with Wave Country and military alliance with Sand was hanging on a thin thread after Naruto's sentence and kidnapping. Things were extremely bad for Tsunade. Danzo Shimura was extremely angry over recent events. The Leaf Warhawk and Foundation commander did not like how his plans were sabotaged by unknown forces. How he and the tens of thousands in the Leaf Village suddenly fell asleep by the time Naruto was kidnapped was a mystery. His plans to get Naruto was thrown down the sink just like that. Hey Tsunade. Jiraiya of the Sannin had entered through the window as usual. Wow, the Leaf looks really down right now. Anyways, where the blonde brat? I had to take him on a training trip. The kid is kidnapped, Jiraiya. Tsunade replied in a tired voice, surprising Jiraiya. What? Who did it? Stone? Cloud? Orochimaru? Who? Jiraiya asked frantically, his blood boiling in anger. Some unknown force, Jiraiya. That's all. Some very powerful and mysterious force just took him. How did it happen? Tell me everything you know. Jiraiya asked and Tsunade told him everything. Starting from the hospital incident, to Naruto's sentence and whatever she knew happened that day. Hearing the news, Jiraiya got increasingly angrier at the village and the council for ordering such a punishment that Naruto didn't deserve. And we all just fell asleep like that. Next thing I know, Naruto was gone. I dispatched several squads of Anbu to find him but none so far have any luck. I'll find him, Jiraiya said to Tsunade. What? Jiraiya, as much as I care about Naruto, the village needs you more than ever. Sorry Tsunade, but I've neglected my duties as a godfather for too long now. It's time I make up for lost time. But the village, I know I'm spitting on the memory of your grandfather, granduncle and Sarutobi sensei, but after what they did to Naruto, I don't really care about it much. I will send intel back to you, but in the meantime, I'm traveling the world searching for my godson. And Jiraiya jumped out of the window to do just that. Now even Jiraiya left. This just keeps getting worse for me. Arcadia. To win a battle, you must know your enemy. Not simply know them but also their philosophy, history, art and culture. Know them as you would a book, understand them and you can win 100 battles. Enoch said to his apprentice who was listening. And why would I want to know them? They're my enemies, aren't they? Naruto asked and Enoch chuckled. It's not about wanting, Naruto. If you know how your opponent would react in any situation, you can easily predict their moves. Their actions. They will fall into your hands like a puppet bound to strings. And you can tear them piece by piece. Enoch explained to Naruto who, despite being against the idea of knowing your enemy's history and personality, found the tactic extremely efficient. Continue reading, Naruto. These are the best books of war tactics, history, politics and economics that we have. The elven scribes have every detail needed for you to learn. Enoch said. He wanted his apprentice to learn everything necessary to bring about Arcadia's second rise. If you don't mind me asking, Master, what was your life like before being king? That is a story that I thought I would reveal at a later date. I will tell you about it one day, but for now, read these books and understand their lessons. Naruto was reading his assigned books when he sensed an incoming attack. He jumped up quickly to avoid the attack and landed behind his table. The attackers were 3 assassins made of fire and Naruto, using his new magic, coated his arms and legs and chest with water. The fire beings attacked with fire swords and spears and Naruto engaged them with a water staff. He blocked the first strike, then kicked the first attacker and dodged the second incoming attack. He kicked the fire being right in the face and did a somersault and struck the third one in the chest. He blocked another attack and then engaged the remaining assassins. After another 3 intense minutes of fighting, Naruto managed to win against his attackers, much to the joy of his master. Excellent, Naruto. Your training is going well. I believe in less than 3 years, you will be the perfect heir to Arcadia. Now, let's go outside to the nearby river. Enoch commanded and Naruto did so. Naruto ran down the river, jumped on the rocks and did a forward flip. He jumped up and landed atop a rock 4 meters in height. He ran again and climbed a tree with only one hand. He looked to see the vibrant landscape. The river Rune flowing through the land with wild vegetation growing. The birds singing, the wild animals playing in the sights of nature. He felt the life flowing and embraced it as was his training. He jumped back down and walked to his master. Sword form 1 inch, Enoch said as he handed Naruto a sword. Naruto did as instructed and got into his stance. Sword form 2 inches, Enoch ordered again and Naruto did so. Good. Now, destroy the stone warriors I created. Enoch said and 7 stone warriors came to attack Naruto. Naruto fought against the stone warriors with slight difficulty given that he was using his left hand, but he won nonetheless. Enoch was extremely pleased with Naruto's progress and now, he could move on to harder subjects now that he covered most of the basics. Come here, Naruto. Enoch called out to his apprentice who came as quickly as he could. What is it, master? A new technique? No, I believe it's time I tell you of my story. My life, before I became king. I thought you said you were going to tell me at a later time. Enoch then picked up a handful of sand and threw it in the air. Then, a misty fog appeared and Enoch's memories played like a magical TV. Now is a good time as any. My story begins about 10,000 years ago. I was born to a poor family in the city of Lagash. No proper education could be afforded to me. My father taught me all he knew about the world, from stories recited by travelers or rumors, and did his best to teach me. Eventually, I was taught how to become a blacksmith like my father and skilled in the arts of forging. The kings of the city-states hired me because of my skills to forge weapons out of smelted iron or bronze, but I was paid very little. Then, my life changed forever in one day. While I bathed in the river Kishan, a meteor landed near where I bathed. I checked to investigate and found a black metal unlike any before. It radiated an aura, powerful and dark, with untold potential. And there, buried in the meteor, was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. In all my travels, never had I met a woman as beautiful as her. My lovely wife, Ishtar Otsutsuki. Ishtar Otsutsuki. You found her in the meteor? Yes. For an Otsutsuki is a species more powerful than man, and they live in places outside this world. So, they're aliens. Yes. Indra and Ashura, the fathers of Uchiha and the Senju and Uzumaki, were of Otsutsuki blood. The sage of the six paths, the founder of the ways of manipulating chakra, his brother Hamura, the father of all Hyuga, were Otsutsuki. Their mother Kagaya was an Otsutsuki. How do you know this? My soul sees many, major events in the world. Not all but important ones after the flood came. All shall be revealed soon, my apprentice. Then I patiently wait for when you can tell me, Master. Good. You did not forget your training. Where was I? Oh yes. I took Ishtar to my home and the metal also for further study. I nursed Ishtar back to health, and our first encounter was somewhat awkward and hostile. Minus 10,000 years ago. Ishtar woke up in a soft bed, her body still aching a bit from the crash. She examined her surroundings with her Rinne Sharingan to find she was in a house of sorts. She looked at her body to find bandages covering her wounds. Hearing noises, she turned her head to see a native of the planet, with cups in his hands. Hello. Enoch spoke just as Ishtar made a pure, violet chakra sword in her hands. I mean you no harm. Enoch said in a frightened voice. I nursed you because you were wounded. Enoch said, approaching Ishtar, and he put the cups down on a table. I mean you no harm, I swear. Ishtar deactivated her blades and put her hand on Enoch. A white light covered the man's face as Ishtar took in some of Enoch's knowledge to properly understand her current location. Okay. Enoch said, shrugging the whole thing that just happened. Are you okay, miss? Ishtar looked at Enoch in a confused manner. She was just beginning to understand the native language and couldn't speak right now. Okay, I'll introduce myself. My name is Enoch Balier, son of Kiran and Nessa, blacksmith for the kingdoms of man. Ishtar Otsutsuki, daughter of Abza and Tiamat, princess of the Otsutsuki clan. Ishtar said, revealing her name to Enoch. I see. Are you okay, Ishtar? I am fine. Thank you, Enoch, for tending my wounds. Ishtar said in a somewhat weird accent, but Enoch didn't mind. You're welcome, Ishtar. Here, I made it for you. Enoch said and gave Ishtar the cup. It was clear Ishtar didn't know what a cup or a drink was, so Enoch showed her how to do so. He blew at the drink and Ishtar copied the action. Enoch then drank and Ishtar followed suit, finding the taste of tea wonderful. It's good, Ishtar said, drinking all of her tea in one cup, surprising Enoch since the tea was hot. Are you hungry, Ishtar? I have some vegetables and eggs if you want. Enoch asked as he got up and went into the kitchen. Ishtar, ever so curious, followed the man, hoping to learn more. Present day, that was your first meeting? Naruto asked his master, who nodded. Yes. Ishtar was a curious girl, eager to learn all she could. Despite not having any formal education of sorts at the time, I helped her learn what she wanted. Continue, master. I want to hear more. Of course. Ishtar stayed with me for 2 years. During that time, I taught her much of what I know. From the different city-states, the peoples, the geography, and of course, the tyrannical dragons who oppressed mankind. As a blacksmith often hired by wealthy kings, I had the benefit of learning more than the average man. After all, education for the past 8,000 years was a privilege only for the rich and aristocracy. Anyways, she would, in these 2 years' time, fall in love with me and I too fell in love with her. She took a more human-like appearance to hide her alien origin and we got married. Enoch then showed Naruto an image of Ishtar's human form and the young blonde had a nosebleed at seeing Ishtar. The flowing, golden hair, the soft, silky skin and the revealing clothes made her a goddess among women. Tragedy soon struck. The dragons were tyrannical and oppressive, enslaving humans in the tens of thousands. The mighty kings, even of the most powerful cities like Kish and Lagash, were simply puppets to their dragon overlords. Ishtar's original mission on this planet was to plant a divine tree that would eat the planet's life force. She wasn't the first Otsutsuki here on the planet. 1,000 years before she came, various Otsutsuki warred with the dragons but the alien invaders were defeated. The might of the dragon father, Glaurung the Abhorred, was absolute. But, the legends say you slew Glaurung. How did you do it, master? Naruto asked in curiosity. Not everything is as simple as it is written down in books, Naruto. The dragons attacked Lagash because the king, Heir refused to pay tribute. In the slaughter that followed, Ishtar protected me from the dragons, by slaying them. Slaughter of Lagash, 10,000 years ago. Dragon fire swept over the city. Buildings were burning and the civilians were fleeing for their lives. The soldiers valiantly tried to fight the winged monsters but their weapons were useless on dragon scale. Enoch ran as fast as he could to his house to get his wife. When he got back however, she wasn't there. Ishtar, Ishtar, where are you? Enoch shouted for his wife just as the building near him collapsed. His wife, Ishtar Otsutsuki, came to her husband's aid once she found him. Ishtar, you're safe. I am, love. Don't worry, I'll get us out of here. Ishtar destroyed the burning wood that trapped her husband and prepared to leave but a dragon landed besides them. What's this? The dragon said in a loud, terrifying voice. A couple? He, you two look so adorable together. Say goodbye, humans, and the dragon opened his mouth and unleashed fire on the two. Ishtar made a chakra dome to protect herself and her husband from the incoming fire. The dragon was astonished but he quickly realized what was happening. You're one of them, aren't you? I'll burn your skin for daring to set foot on this planet, Otsutsuki. Not if I burn you first. Ishtar then unleashed black flames on the dragon, injuring the winged beast severely. Vermilion blade. Ishtar made a red, lightning sword on her hands and flew up and pierced the dragon in the head, killing the creature in one hit. An Otsutsuki. Eliminate the off-worlder, shouted one of the dragons as others were coming to Ishtar's position. Go, Enoch, I'll take care of them. Ishtar said to her husband and a silver chakra enveloped her, taking the form of a humanoid warrior. Come on dragons, show me what you are made of, and Ishtar jumped to face the winged beasts. Present day, she's so cool, Naruto exclaimed loudly. But master, I thought it was you who fought the dragons, not Ishtar. We both did fight the dragons. She saved me and slew the dragons that attacked Lagash but this drew the attention of their leader, Glaurung. Glaurung? I've heard his name before in the books, master. Said that not even the 9 tails compared to Glaurung's power. Glaurung was the oldest and mightiest of his kind. Beasts like the 9-tailed fox, while powerful in their right, are but kittens compared to the sheer monstrosity that was Glaurung the Abhorred. The father of dragons had wings over 20 kilometers in length. His wings covered the land when he flew. His mouth could swallow 7 whales whole. His armor was like a mountain made of bronze and iron. His claws and teeth were sharper than swords and his fire could burn as hot as the sun. His movements shook the earth to its very core like a nail being hit with a hammer. A monster unlike any ever seen or will be. The father of dragons came to fight Ishtar. He had fought numerous Otsutsuki before and though Ishtar was extremely powerful, she was no match for the father of dragons. She perished in the fight. I'm sorry to hear that, master. She still lives on. Enoch told his apprentice, confusing him. She does? Our loved ones live in our hearts. A person is truly dead if the ones who knew them forget about them. Even your parents are alive, Naruto, in you. Their love lives on, in you. Remember that love. I understand, master. Ishtar ultimately perished in the fight. When I came to her, it was too late. Her death could not be prevented. As I sat beside her body, she wiped away my tears, telling me that she loved me and she would always stay with me even in death. She told me of a way to kill Glorung. To forge a sword from the metal in her meteor, and as a final gift, she gave me her eyes and power. Her eyes, a mix of the Rinnegan and Sharingan coupled with a sword from the metal, would be enough to end the tyranny of the dragons once and for all. Minus 10,000 years ago. The dragons in the Great Valleys were feasting when Enoch came, cloak over his body and an entourage riding 6 wagons containing barrels of wine. Who are you, human? What is it that you seek that you come to me, the father of dragons? Spoke Glorung in a loud, monstrous voice full of pride that echoed throughout the lands. My name is Enoch and these are my friends. We bring to you, O great father of dragons, the finest wine from the kingdoms of man to celebrate your recent victory. Enoch said as his entourage unloaded 30 large barrels full of wine. Oh, I always enjoyed drinking the wine which you pathetic humans make. More useful than your sorry selves, wouldn't you say? Glorung taunted as he drank the wine. Little did the dragon know that the wine contained large amounts of drugs that caused tiredness. After Glorung drank 7 barrels, he became quite drunk and his body got tired and weak. The other powerful dragons also drank and got the same effects. Thinking that now was the time to strike, Enoch walked closer to Glorung, his hand ready to strike with a secret weapon. You dragons always considered yourself superior than us. And indeed we are superior. Glorung replied in his drunken state. Are you certain? Is that doubt I hear, human? I can kill you with a mere breath. Perhaps, but you see, the thing is, you don't understand us. We humans, despite our weakness, make up for in sheer cunning. What we lack in strength, we make up for in intellect, and you dragons seem to forget that. You underestimate humanity's infinite potential for malice and destruction. That is why I consider you pathetic, Glorung. You call me pathetic, pathetic, shouted Glorung in anger. Indeed, pride leads to arrogance, arrogance leads to laziness, laziness to incompetence, and incompetence to death. Your pride will be your own downfall, Glorung. And who will deliver that strike? You, jackpot. And Enoch pulled down his cloak to reveal a set of armor made from the black metal that he found alongside Ishtar. And he opened his eyes to reveal the new Rinne Sharingan, the last gift his wife gave him. That armor, made from death metal. The same metal that can harness the full power of the primeval waters of chaos. The source of creation, so that's what this metal is called. Those eyes. The same ones as the Otsutsuki I killed days ago. She couldn't defeat me, human, what makes you think you can? Because she is with me, guiding me in everything I do. Enoch then jumped up and thrust the sword he made right into Glorung's heart. The father of dragons roared in pain as his massive body fell to the ground. The other dragons tried helping, but Enoch, using his new powers granted by his eyes, trapped them in planetoids. Enoch took the sword and jumped back as Glorung got up. I will enjoy burning your flesh for that, human, and Glorung unleashed a massive sea of fire at Enoch. Enoch made an energy shield that protected him and his friends from the fire. The dragon was surprised since no one had survived his flames before. The death metal. It amplifies your power, making you many times stronger than you were originally supposed to be. But it matters not, my power is absolute, we'll see about that. Enoch then made a large fist from the ground coated with lava and punched the mighty dragon right in the face. He called to his power and a dark blue energy moving like water appeared on his hands. He unleashed the blasts at Glorung, who roared in pain. A powerful attack, human, but not enough to kill me. Glorung said as his massive hand came down and punched the ground. The shock wave from the punching leaving a massive crater. Enoch started to fly across Glorung's massive body and shot beams of dark energy at the dragon. Glorung flapped his wings, making a hurricane that threw Enoch off course. Glorung then released his own beam of red dark energy and destroyed kilometers of land in an instant. The power of his blast making even the 9-tailed fox's tailed beast bomb look like nothing. The sky grew dark and lightning descended down, striking Glorung. Glorung caught sight of Enoch and he swallowed him up, destroying the mountain upon which Enoch stood. But Enoch unleashed a burst of energy that made Glorung open his mouth. Enoch pulled down 5 meteors, each over 75 meters across and burning with black flames, from space, and they made impact on Glorung. Enoch focused dark energy around him and shot missiles of dark energy at Glorung. The massive dragon, angered at the humiliation, roared in defiance and unleashed a massive energy attack at Enoch. Enoch barely managed to avoid the powerful blow, which went into space and made a huge explosion lighting the night sky. Glorung hit Enoch with his tail and Enoch crashed into several mountains. "Is that all you got, human? I am disappointed. I'm just getting started." Enoch then used the ultimate power of his eyes, the Susanoo. His Susanoo, already a mile big, absorbed all the powers of the trapped dragons, making its size increase to the same size as Glorung. "Now, this is a more interesting fight. That's more like it, human. Our battle will be legendary." Glorung shot multiple fireballs at the Susanoo, which simply slapped them away. Glorung charged at the Susanoo and the two colossal monstrosities wrestled for dominance. The Susanoo kicked the dragon away and made two swords. The sheer swings of the swords destroyed mountains, made valleys and changed the landscape. Glorung flew up to space and the Susanoo followed. The two behemoths battled it out in all-out battle to the death. Blasts of energy fell down which shook the planet to the very core. The Susanoo grabbed hold of Glorung's head and slammed it down to the ocean. The dragon got back up and roared in defiance once more. The Susanoo fired arrows of lightning and flew up to the sky. Glorung followed and the two battled once more. The Susanoo shot javelins of dark energy, but the dragon's armor was impenetrable. The Susanoo locked Glorung in place and Enoch jumped out of his Susanoo. He plunged his sword into Glorung's heart and he thrust it deeper. Glorung fell to the ground in a large earthquake that was felt all over the continent. "Now, I avenge my wife, and every person you have ever killed, Glorung." "The Otsutsuki," spoke Glorung weakly. "They are a plague. They only seek to do their selfish plans. If I die, no one is safe. I know all about the Otsutsuki plans, dragon. My wife, the female Otsutsuki you killed, told me everything. I will protect this world from them and unlike you, I will succeed." And Enoch pushed the sword deeper and Glorung, mightiest of the dragons and father of their race, was killed. Present day. After that, I reforged the sword with the dragon's teeth and claws into a new, more powerful sword which I named, the Naruto. And from Glorung's heart a reign to control his massive power and from his brain, one crown to rule them all. I soon became the new king of Lagash and one by one, the kingdoms of man and other species would join my growing empire. Thus marks the end of the Chaos Gabf tale. Enoch said to his apprentice Naruto, "It's such an amazing story, master. What happened next? I ruled for 77 years and then I died. I married 7 other women and had children, but none could fill the hole Ishtar had left. I left a great legacy for my descendants, but they proved weak and incompetent in the managing of my empire. Eventually, the Otsutsuki unleashed a great flood which wiped out most of humanity, but that is a story for another time." "I see. In the meantime, I have people I want you to meet." Enoch then walked and Naruto followed. Before them were 4 people, the ones whom Enoch assigned to train Naruto. "These are your instructors for further training, Naruto. Karen, the centaur master of hosts and war. Furiosa, captain of the sirens, master assassins and hunters. Alec, elf master of sorcery, and Itri, dwarf master of smithing. They will teach you in their respective arts to become the perfect warrior." "I thank you, master. And a gift." Itri. Enoch called for the dwarf and the dwarf brought to Naruto a box. Inside the box was an arm made of obsidian. Naruto connected it to his stump and the arm tied itself to the magic of Naruto, becoming like an actual arm for Naruto. Now his training got a whole lot easier. The lands of Nod, far west from the elemental nations, was a desolate wasteland. The land was harsh, scorched, black like ash. Due to the inhospitable conditions, men had decided to not settle here in Nod like they used to over 2,500 years ago. Naruto learned that Enoch scorched the land purposefully to protect the magical creatures from the ever-growing greed of humans. And King Enoch's soul appeared before the fleeing survivors. Dwarves, elves, centaurs, fairies, trolls, sirens, satyrs and many, many more were running from the mighty armies of man when our ancestors saw him. With his legendary sword, the Naruto, ablaze in a bleeding flame, he struck the ground and burned the land and tens of thousands of men. Since then, every magical creature has lived in these lands, serving as a border to ward of men, explained a giant troll to the future king, Naruto Uzumaki. A.N. For the Enoch scene is described, think of Methuselah's scene from the 2014 Noah movie. And no man has been seen since that will harm us. Naruto finished and the troll nodded. Hopefully I don't count among these men, right? Og, young Naruto. And yes, you are an exception, the troll named Og said. Then, let's continue the search. Naruto said as he, Og the troll and a satyr were searching for a mineral named Zohar. A mineral gold in color that could produce as much fire as 5 barrels of oil could. Zohar was also full of magical properties and was of vital importance to the dwarf smiths. Enoch had given his powerful ring, the Hades ring, to his apprentice. The Hades ring, forged from the heart of Glaurung, could control and manipulate the very foundations of the earth. Right now, Naruto was using it to search for Zohar. After a few minutes of searching, he finally found some. Here, he alerted his comrades and he started digging. Naruto found 6 Zohar stones and packed them. 6 stones. Not much, but it's the best we can find. He and his companions, after a long and tiresome journey, decided to call it a day and head back, but they heard a noise. Naruto ran to where he heard it and hid behind the cliff rocks. Looking down, he saw a wild deer being chased by 3 hunters. Men? They shouldn't be here in Nod, the satyr companion of Naruto exclaimed. I'll deal with them. In the meantime, you and Og find cover. Naruto ordered as he ran to the wounded deer. The deer had an arrow stuck in its belly and was bleeding heavily. Naruto calmed the creature down just as it took its last breath and died. He took the arrow out and prepared to fight the unwelcome hunters. Looks like you found our kill, said one of the hunters as they approached Naruto. What are you doing here in Nod? Men don't belong here in these lands. Naruto said, trying to avoid a fight. Aren't you a man? We are starving. Been days since we ate meat. I am different. These lands are not for regular men. Leave, before this resorts to unnecessary conflict. Naruto warned, but the hunters didn't listen. One of them attacked Naruto with a knife, but the former ninja sidestepped the attack. He killed the attacker with the arrowhead and avoided a spear strike from the second hunter. Naruto grabbed the last hunter's arm and broke his leg, then proceeded to snap his neck. The last surviving hunter tried to attack again, but Naruto kicked him. The blonde then impaled him with his own spear right through the chest and prepared the killing blow. Please, the hunter begged for his life, have mercy. Mercy? There was none when I begged for it and you had none for the animal. Naruto then killed the hunter, then buried them all including the deer. He then left with his companions back to Arcadia. Enoch's ziggurat, Arcadia. How goes the Zohar hunt, my apprentice? Enoch asked as his apprentice entered. Well, master, we found 6 Zohar stones. 6? I thought there would be more than just 6. Matters not if the dwarves are satisfied enough. Something else. Men? Here in Nod? This close to Arcadia? Yes. Hunting a wild deer. I killed them before they could continue further west. Good, my apprentice. Very good. To think they would dare to cross the burned boundaries. If they discover Arcadia, the last remnants of the magical species that survived the flood are in danger. When can we start my training, master? I have a mission for you. Enoch informed his apprentice, shocking him. A mission? The former princess of the Land of Snow is a famous actress around the world. You were once a big fan of the movies she played in. The Princess Gale movies. To think Yukie is an actual princess. That's not the point, my apprentice. She needs protection as her team is going to shoot in her former home. She'll need protection since her uncle wants her dead. Your task is to protect her, but there's more than that. Her country has been developing advanced technology using chakra metal. Bring back some of so that the dwarves may forge for you a set of armor. I understand the purpose of my mission, master. I shall leave upon your call and once I know where she is. She is in Earth Country, the closest shinobi nation to Arcadia. Try limit using the powers you were given by me, Rain and Eyes, to avoid unwanted attention from the shinobi villages. Warned Enoch as he had given Naruto his ring and his Rinne Sharingan. With all due respect, master, would I need to use them? Naruto asked as he opened his new eyes before leaving to fulfill his mission. One more thing, Enoch called out to his apprentice. The dwarves have a gift for you, my young apprentice. It would be of use if you were to receive it before you leave. I understand. Naruto spoke and left to get the gift the dwarves made for him. You earned my ring and eyes, Naruto. Soon, you will my crown and my sword. A day later. Naruto was walking down the streets of the hidden stone village wearing a black cloak. He was searching for the movie cast team so that his mission may be fulfilled. His cloak, however, was no ordinary cloak. The gift the dwarves gave him was a set of black wings that he could use to fly. The wings also could convert to become a cloak, and he was currently wearing said cloak. His face was hidden by his cloak hood as he didn't want his scar to be seen. As he continued walking down, he finally found his assigned targets. He ignored the crew asking him who he was and walked straight to the manager. "You are the one who has asked for protection, I believe. I offer you my services. Are you implying you can protect us? Forgive me, but you seem young," the manager said as he looked at Naruto. "My skills far outweigh my appearance. Know that I do not like being underestimated by anyone." Naruto spoke with hints of anger as fire manifested and danced around on his left hand. Naruto put his hand on a metal box and he melted it to liquid. "Convinced? Very convinced. We'll leave soon, Mr. Naruto." "Well then, Mr. Naruto. We will leave soon once the crew is ready." -2 days later, the crew plus Naruto reached Snow Country on a ship. The main one he was assigned to protect via the contract was Koyuki Kazuhana, the rightful princess of the land. But no one knew of this little tidbit save for him and her protector. She had used her alias as Yukie Fujikaze in occupation as actress to protect herself from her uncle's supporters. Naruto had learned to be an extremely patient man thanks to Enoch, but he was prone to anger more often than not. The princess's constant whinings and attitude frustrated him to no end, but he controlled himself. The crew came down from the ship and began shooting when 3 of Dodo Kazuhana's men came down with missions to capture his niece. "Welcome to the land of snow, visitors," said their leader, Nader Roga, as he stood atop the ice. "Greetings, Princess Koyuki. Hope you still have the hex crystal," the pink-haired female of the group, Fubuki, said as she and the other teammate came out of their hiding spots. "Go back to the boat," Naruto ordered as he walked to face them. "You are not worth my time. Leave now and I shall be merciful." "Stay, then." "I won't," Naruto warned, but the 3 merely laughed. "He's only 1 and we are 3. Get him." Roga ordered his teammates and they sprang into action. "I warned you," Naruto said in an uninterested voice as the 3 attacked. The big one of the group, Mizore, used a snowboard to come and attack Naruto. The blonde merely jumped away from the attack and flew down to avoid the ice attack coming from the pink-haired female. Ice style. Sabama Blizzard. Fubuki threw multiple icebergs at Naruto, who merely scoffed. "Pathetic," Naruto merely said as he let out his hand and a huge storm of fire came out, evaporating the ice. He kicked the mechanized arm from Mizore away and saw Roga prepare a giant ice whale coming in to attack him. "I'm somewhat impressed by the elves could do so much better," Naruto commented and made a fire spear and threw it at the whale. Boom! The ice whale exploded into a million pieces and Naruto unleashed a powerful wind that distracted them. Fubuki made huge blocks of ice to try and imprison Naruto, but he used his magic to phase through them like a ghost. He collected a dark blue energy on his hand and fired at Roga's ice dragon. The ice dragon turned into nothing and Naruto's eyes were glowing red. "You didn't heed my warning the first time. Unlike the idiotic acts of samurai and some ninja, I don't give second chances to enemies." Naruto collected large amounts of energy and he unleashed it as a great burst. The chakra dome protecting the 3 disappeared. "Art chakra shield. Impossible. It's gone." "How?" Roga was asking in fear and confusion when Naruto kicked him in the stomach. "Don't talk when the killing starts." Naruto then punched Roga to the other side of the field. Fubuki was shooting more icebergs, but Naruto made his own energy shield and they shattered upon impact. Naruto used gravity magic to lift a large block of ice, breaking it into 250 swords and used it to attack the 3. Mizore fired his rocket arm at Naruto, but the blonde grabbed hold of it and crushed it to pieces. Naruto then used his gravity magic to a greater extent and lifted an ice mountain. He split it apart into 3 and used it to crush the 3. Nader Roga, thinking fast, made an ice whale to save his team. "Retreat," he called to his teammates as it was clear Naruto was the strongest in that area. "They're not worth wasting any more power," Naruto commented as he allowed them to retreat. "This mission is a lot easier than I thought it would be." Tsunade was the granddaughter of the first Hokage of the Leaf, Hashirama Senju. She was one of the most brilliant ninjas of her time, surviving even Hanzo the Salamander's slaughter and the best medical ninja to date. But all that meant nothing when faced with the Leaf's decline. Ever since Naruto's kidnapping, things had been going downhill for the once proud village, and to make things even worse, Sasuke Uchiha had ran away once more. To make things even worse, Jiraiya had left the Leaf in search of Naruto and no word had been heard from him since. The Anbu units she had sent had all returned except for Yugo's unit. She had to turn down Kurenai and Anko's requests to search for her. She heard a knocking on her door and allowed whoever it was to enter. Imagine her surprise and anger at seeing Sakura Haruno, Hinata Hyuga and Ino Yamanaka enter. "Lady Tsunade, may we enter?" Sakura asked in a scared, timid voice more akin to Hinata than her. "What do you want, brats? Can't you see I'm busy?" she asked back, not hiding her obvious disdain of the three girls. She had to fight the urge to remove their shinobi license for what they did to Naruto that day. And now had to fight an even stronger urge to not beat them up for even having the guts to show their faces. "We want to ask if you can take us under your wing to become your apprentices," Sakura said with all the courage she could muster. "And why do you want to become my apprentice, Haruno? So that when you meet Naruto again, you can just pound him into dust with a super punch?" Tsunade said to the pink-haired girl who looked down in shame. "Or so that you can finally have your dear Sasuke and he will never leave your side again?" "It's not about that," Sakura nearly shouted. "Please, teach me so that I can bring Sasuke back and so that I can have the strength to apologize to Naruto." Sakura finished her sentence, surprising Tsunade. "I want to say I'm sorry for that day. I want to apologize, but I'm not strong enough. Please help me be strong so that I can earn his forgiveness, Lady Tsunade." Sakura nearly cried as she finished her words. "Wow, I'm honestly surprised," was all Tsunade could simply say. "And you, Hyuga, Yamanaka?" "Same as Sakura's, Lady Hokage." Ino replied in a confident way. "Please, Lady Tsunade, help me become stronger," Hinata said as she wanted to apologize and confess her love to Naruto. "Very well. Meet me tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. No slagging, no complaining. Since you asked for it, there will be no restrictions on your training and I'll have you three be the best kunoichi in the Leaf," Tsunade said, and the three girls smiled, happy that Tsunade complied to their wishes. For Tsunade, perhaps the Leaf still had hopes of redemption after all. Land of Snow. Naruto, using his wings, hovered over the skies, seeing the vast mountains and forests covered in snow. Some of Dodo's men had kidnapped the princess, and as part of the contract in protecting her, he had to search for her. Naruto closed his eyes to get a better sense of his surroundings. His mind seeing every stretch of land down to the last detail. He searched and searched using his Figura-rived third eye till he eventually found the Snow Princess. Captured and guarded by 1,000 samurai about 2 miles east from his current position. 1,000 samurai were nothing compared to his magical powers. He flew to her position, breaking the sound barrier, and landed in front of all of them. "Surrender the princess to me," Naruto demanded as his wings became a cloak again. "And I shall be merciful upon your souls." "Kill him," shouted the samurai captain. "Idiots." Naruto then turned into a black mist that moved faster than their eyes could track. He killed the 2 samurai who were holding Koyuki hostage and transported her to safety. "Hide in the forest. Wait till it's safe," Naruto ordered her as he walked out into the open. He put out his hand and the metal from beneath the ground came out to form 2 swords. The samurai came charging at Naruto, but the blonde was unfazed by their numbers. He thrust his sword through the head of a samurai, then slit the throat of another. He began to slaughter the samurai as they continued their charge. "Move, he's mine," shouted the captain as he charged, but Naruto impaled him with his sword. The samurai started firing their arrows, but Naruto used his power to freeze the arrows. He then turned the arrows around and killed over 50 samurai. Naruto gave a war cry as he jumped up and landed and began his slaughter. Heads rolled on the ground, the snow covered with blood as Naruto didn't stop his onslaught. Naruto kicked a samurai to a rock and slit another's throat. He used his magic to grab the samurai by their throats, lifting them up, and unleashed a burst of energy that turned well over 400 samurai to ashes. After 2 minutes of intense fighting, the entire samurai army was eliminated. Naruto walked up to Koyuki, who was shocked to see the slaughter. "We move, princess," he said, and the princess of snow followed him. A heavy snowstorm hit in, an unnatural and powerful one at that. Naruto found a cave and took some wood, put fire on it, and both he and Koyuki stopped to wait out the storm. Naruto could sense an ice spirit trapped within the far mountain that caused these winters. A problem for another time. "You run from it," Naruto said, starting a conversation with the princess of the land. "I don't know what you are talking about," Koyuki replied. "You deny it, but it keeps getting stronger and has been since we reached this place. The memories of events past haunting you. Are you some sort of mind reader?" "No, I can simply feel people's emotions. Fear, rage, happiness, loneliness and more. Tell me, princess, what is it that you are running from?" Koyuki might as well tell the blonde. She feared his power more than her uncle or anyone. "My uncle killed my father and since then, ruled this country like the tyrant he is. You try hiding your pain with your acting. It seems we aren't so different." "Really? Once, I was a ninja of the hidden leaf. The day I was born, the nine-tailed demon fox attacked. To save the village, my father, the fourth Hokage, had sealed the demon into me. The village blamed me for the destruction, thinking I was the fox reborn. My childhood was rough, to say the least. I was discriminated upon, shunned by everyone. Hated. The moment the fox was sealed, I masked my true feelings with the guise of a happy, idiotic persona, but now I'm tired of living that lie." "I'm sorry to hear that, Naruto. Don't be. Now I'm out of the leaf and life couldn't be happier for me. The fact that I told you my father was the fourth is a classified village secret and I would like it if you wouldn't tell anyone. Not that I really care if the leaf finds out or not." "Okay, then, tell me, Naruto. Why did you leave the village? I thought ninjas were supposed to be loyal to their affiliated villages." "I was saved. The mission to rescue one defective Uchiha had gone successfully save for the fact that my right side is scarred and I lost my right arm. My friends had abandoned me in support of the Uchiha and two dwarves, Brock and Itri, saved me from the village. Now, I'm free from the cage that is the leaf. Your cage is your refusal to accept your birthright, Koyuki. Embrace it and then you can be free. And I must tell you that there is an ice spirit here in these lands." "An ice spirit?" "Yes. One that is responsible for the harsh winters. I will deal with the spirit, personally," Naruto assured her as the storm died out. "Come, we are near where the movie crew is," Naruto said, and they started moving. They came in under an abandoned tunnel when they heard the sounds of something moving extremely fast. It was a train. Naruto let out his wings and grabbed Koyuki's arm and sped out of the tunnel faster than anyone could see. Koyuki breathed a sigh of relief, but the train came and the voice of her uncle sounded from the train. Her protector named Sandayu had came in with 50 men, all of them valiant and ready to avenge Koyuki's father. "Eliminate them," ordered Dodo to his men, and they prepared to open a hail of arrows. Koyuki screamed in fear as the arrows were coming. Fear of losing her friend by the hands of her uncle, but something happened. The arrows stopped mid-air. "TCH. What a pathetic display of power," Naruto said with an outstretched hand, glowing in dark blue light. He turned the arrows around and lit them in blue, magic flames. He then unleashed them on the train. The arrows, enhanced by magic, had strength comparable to fireballs, and in a fury of explosives, the train was destroyed. Dodo barely survived the display of power showed by Naruto, but he had another trick up his sleeve. His airship swooped down and captured his niece. He climbed on board the airship, but it wasn't flying away. Naruto used his power to trap the ship in the air. Dodo quickly got inside in case the blonde tried anything. Naruto unfolded his wings and flew up, beheading the two samurai guarding the entrance. Naruto slaughtered anyone who came in his way. He made his way into the bridge and used a gravity push that knocked out Mizore and Fubuki. Nadare Roga tried to attack, but Naruto gravity slapped him away. In his fear, Dodo put a knife near Koyuki's neck. "Come any closer, monster, and I kill her." Naruto didn't care. He had learned many types of magic from Enoch, including reality manipulation and time-space mastery. He stopped time and got Koyuki out of his clutches. When the magic wore off, Dodo was shocked, and then he had the knife near his throat. He could see Naruto's hand clearly controlling his body. "Please, mercy," he begged of the blonde, whose cold stare never changed. "I must admit that mercy is a foreign concept to me since the day I left the village. replied Naruto, and in a quick motion, Doto stabbed himself in the neck and blood came out. Eventually, he died from blood loss and Koyuki could now take her rightful mantle as daimyo. Looks like the country has a new leader now. I guess so. Pilot, land us down now. She ordered the pilot since she was clearly the rightful heir and Naruto was there to back her up in case of uncooperative actions. What hit me? Roga asked as he woke up along with his teammates and found Doto dead. Lord Doto is dead. I see you awoke. The three looked up to see Naruto. Yes, Doto is dead. You will now pledge your undying loyalty to Koyuki or you will suffer a similar fate. Yes. The three immediately bowed down and pledged allegiance to the new snow daimyo. Naruto walked out of the room, ignoring Koyuki's questions and flew down to the Rainbow Glacier. Where are you, Ice Spirit? Show yourself. Naruto commanded and his ring helped him draw out the spirit. The Ring of Enoch. How do you possess that ring, human? Asked the Snow Spirit. I am his heir. Go to the land of Nod where magic belongs. Where all the remnants of the antediluvian world belong to and stop your harassment on the people of this land. This is my command. I refuse. I like it here. I like it when these people die from the cold I bring to them. Then you leave me no choice. As Enoch's heir, I strip you of the right to live. You dare not. You are not my king. The well-being of one matters not when faced with that of thousands upon thousands. You brought this upon yourself. Naruto then absorbed the ice spirit into the rain, then turning it into a fruit before he left the cave. Arcadia, 1 week later. How goes the mission, my young apprentice? Asked Enoch to his apprentice, who kneeled before his ethereal form. It went well, master. I got the chakra armor and the dwarves are remaking it with magic and death metal to forge an Arcadian armor for me. There is more you are not telling me, Naruto. I want every detail. The lands of Snow Country were plagued by a snow spirit. But I subdued the spirit as it refused to obey my command. And the fate that has fallen on this spirit? I turned him into a fruit. Gave it to the new daimyo of snow, Koyuki Kazuhana, as a gift. On my instructions, she ate the fruit and gained the ice powers of the spirit since I don't need its powers. She was more than kind enough to give me a chakra armor and she has expressed her desire to marry me and make me her husband. I don't see why not. Having a queen for a wife is not so bad a power play. A political marriage can be useful in securing peace, alliances, wealth and power in the realm of politics. Kings and warlords do it all the time from the early days till the modern day. Then I shall reply to her informing that I accept. Naruto said to his master as he left to do just that. Clank, clank, slash, clank. Sounds of metal dropped on the floor could be heard as Naruto, blindfolded, had destroyed 20 training dummies with a sword. His progress impressed his teachers greatly. Without magic, Naruto defeated the Iron Soldiers in just under 10 minutes. Impressive, my apprentice. You are becoming more and more powerful with each passing day. I live to one day be worthy of your legacy, master. Have the dwarves finished making their armor? I am curious to see how it will look. Soon, my apprentice. All good things come to those who are patient enough. And of the Anbu captain, Yugo Izuki. When will the transformation be complete? Soon. In time, she will be a servant to the king of Arcadia. You don't seem to show any emotion regarding her fusion with a Shoggoth. I could care less about her. Or anyone from the Leaf. That life is behind me. Now, she is a tool and lives only to serve me. Naruto told his master, expressing his feeling regarding the Leaf as a siren entered. Forgive me for my intrusion, my lord the king, but a human female was found in Nod. The giants have taken her custody and is in Arcadia, the siren reported. And why did you not kill her, siren? Naruto asked, demanding why a human was allowed in Nod and not killed. Because Lord Naruto, she had unique powers not seen before and she was being chased by shinobi who have been identified as followers of the Snake Man. We thought it would be of best interests if she were alive. That is understandable. Forgive me for cutting our lessons short, master, but I must see what this runaway has to say. Naruto bowed before his master and left. Gurren was a fanatic follower of Orochimaru, gifted with a rare bloodline that allowed her to manifest crystals. Sadly, in her last mission, Orochimaru left her to die when they were ambushed by a squad of Leaf Ninja led by Tsunade. She escaped the fight and left Orochimaru, betrayed by the snake's actions. When the snake found out she was alive, he sent his men to catch her. She ran to the lands of Nod, far west beyond the countries of earth and wind. The last thing she remembered was seeing a giant humanoid before being knocked out. Now, she was waking up and found herself tied, being guarded by women who had wings and feathers to hide their private parts. The giant who knocked her out was there also, and two small kids with long pointed ears. "You are a long journey away from home." A voice spoke and Gurren was searching for the voice. She struggled to use her bloodline but nothing. "Struggle all you want but the restraints will not break. You are not free till my word is spoken. You will answer my questions and I will decide your fate." Naruto finished and manifested fully in front of Gurren. "Do not be afraid of the sirens or the elves or the giant. They will not harm you, unless I tell them to. Are you their leader?" Gurren asked to the blonde in front of her who didn't answer. Instead, the blonde stared with his cold, red eyes and the scar on Naruto's face was unnerving to Gurren. "I will ask the questions. Who are you and what association do you have with Orochimaru? How? Answer my questions, woman. You have no right here. Now answer me, who are you and what is your connection to Orochimaru?" "Size, my name is Gurren and I was an associate of Orochimaru." Gurren began and then told Naruto of how the Sound Village was raided by Leaf Shinobi, with Tsunade leading the charge. Orochimaru had escaped with Sasuke Uchiha and left her to die. Naruto then asked Gurren about her bloodline and was intrigued upon hearing the answer. Naruto finally made his decision after much thinking. "I will set you free. Only to serve me in my battles against any who would come up against my kingdom." "Kingdom? You are a king?" "Will be. From now on, you are a citizen of Arcadia and my personal guard. You will do as I command without complaint and the others will treat you as a brethren." "Serve you, huh? Doesn't sound so different like the times I was under Orochimaru. You will find the snake and I are different. I don't abandon comrades. But, if you betray me, I will kill you, slowly and painfully, got it? From now on, I am your king like I am over these people." "Very well. Then, what is your name, my king?" "Naruto. The Nine Tails Jinchuriki? The one who stopped Sasuke's first defection. So news does indeed spread. I take it the snake didn't like it very well. That matters not. The others will treat your wounds and you will find us, kinder than expected." Naruto finished as he left to check on the progress the dwarves made. The dwarven mines were roaring aloud in flames and the clanking of metal. The parts needed for his army were made and constructed in these very mines. Not just regular soldier but beasts, vehicles and weapons of magic and war were built. Catching sight of Brock, Naruto approached the dwarf who expected him. "Ah, if it isn't the future king himself. You are just in time to see the testing of the new soldiers, the Silver Wraiths." Brock said and a silver wraith came before the two. Brock whistled and a large wooden ram shattered the wraith into pieces but the pieces came back, becoming a soldier once more. "Neat huh? Might not be indestructible but they can also remake themselves. Such an army would bring any nation down to their knees in a war." "How many am I expecting for my army, Brock?" "About, 700k and an additional 10k to serve as your elite guard." "Has my armor been prepared yet?" "Oh yes. Come on boys, bring the royal armor." Brock shouted and the dwarves brought before Naruto his new armor. See my Naruto Uchiha FIC, War of Unification Part 7 for reference. "Perfect. When will my army be ready for mobilization, Brock?" "You see that's the thing. We don't have enough fuel. The Zohar burns a lot, yes but, we need more fuel. Otherwise, the army preparations will have to be put on hold." "I'll handle that," Naruto said and his ring glowed. An earthquake occurred near the city for about 3 minutes and then it was over. "I used my power to make a forest grow near Arcadia. You have your fuel, Brock. Finish your task." Come, boys, let's chop us some wood," Brock shouted as the dwarves got their axes to get much needed fuel for the forges. Naruto got back up to the ziggurat where his master was waiting for him. "Come, Naruto, let's see the result of the transformation," Enoch, his master, told him. The two watched as the sarcophagus opened and a purple slime came down. The slime was a Shoggoth and had fused with Yugo Uzuki to become a more powerful entity. The slime took shape to reveal its new form to its new master. "Pretty," was all Naruto could say when he looked at the new Yugo. "Maybe. Let's get back, my apprentice. There are still many things for you to learn. Enoch said, and Naruto followed to continue his training. -3 years later. 3 long years of intense, brutal training had passed. Naruto's tutelage under Enoch Balir, the first emperor of mankind, had come to an end. He was taller, nearly 6 feet in height, and his body was more muscular than those of his age. His hair was darker and like Enoch's. He was more patient and tactical as opposed to his younger self. He was the opposite of everything his younger self was, as a matter of fact. In those 3 years, Naruto had gone on a mission to Demon Country to prevent the rising of unwanted demons. He had killed the cult who wanted to resurrect these demons, and in a twist of events, got the country's leader, priestess, as his bride. Enoch couldn't help but feel that his young heir was becoming truly like an Arcadian king. A.N. Naruto's new mindscape. Naruto was in his mindscape, trying to find the traces of his parents' chakra that was in him. At last, he found them after much searching. At last, we meet, father, mother. Naruto, my boy, how you grown. Kushina Uzumaki, his mother, commented as she saw her son. Mother, so nice to see you. Got nothing to say, father? Is your heart too aligned with the leaf that you side against me? Or is it something else altogether? Tell me it's the latter. Naruto said to his father as the Namikaze approached him. Hello Naruto. It's been so long, Minato said in a nervous voice. His son was no telephat, but he had a feeling he knew why his father sounded like this. If you are feeling regret over the Nine Tails incident, don't. I understand your reasons on why you did. Master Enoch's lessons regarding politics and war helped me understand. I forgive you as a leader, but I will not as a son. Your actions have given me nothing but a terrible life in the leaf. A fact I tried to hide. I tried to gain their approval, their favor, but it wasn't until that day that I realized it will never be good enough. No matter how hard I try, no matter how much I sacrifice, they will never love me. But it matters not. I found a place where I can be loved and a people to love. In a way, your greatest mistake was your greatest gift to me. Naruto, my son, I'm sorry for what I did. Apology accepted. In a way, I do truly forgive you, and yet, I don't. Part of me forgives you while the other doesn't. It will take a longer time for me to truly forgive you. Then I can rest easy knowing that my son will forgive me. No matter how long it takes to earn that forgiveness, said Minato with a hopeful smile. Naruto, I know I have no right, but please, don't destroy the leaf. I know they deserve to be punished, and by you of all people, but there are still good people in that village. People who, I will not destroy the leaf. Naruto said, cutting off his father's sentence. I suppose because of my master's teachings. I have become stale in my emotions. I am like a blank sheet of paper when it comes to emotions. And, I hold no grudges against the leaf, because without it, I would not take my place as Enoch's heir. But should the leaf strike against me, against my people and loved ones, I will not hesitate to turn it to ashes. That is enough for me, my son. My time is nearly over. I wish you well, Naruto, and beware of the masked man. He will prove to be dangerous for you. Minato finished and disappeared. Farewell, father. May you find peace in the afterlife. What do you think of me, mother? Are you proud of the man I became? Naruto asked his mother, who proceeded to hug him. While I do not agree completely with that old man's methods, I am proud of who you are, Naruto. I always knew you were going to become a great man, and you being king proves it. No matter what path you choose, know that I will always love you no matter what. Kushina said with tears in her eyes as her form disappeared, leaving Naruto with a tear falling down his cheeks. I love you too, Mom. Naruto said and came back out into the real world. The final test is done. My master, you did me proud, Naruto. I look at you now not only as an apprentice, but like a son. You are my legacy, my heir, and all that I built, I entrust in your hands. My final gift to you, Naruto. Enoch then gave his sword, the infamous Narada, to Naruto. I now walk in the halls of death and join my fathers before me. I will meet my wife again and be reunited with my family. I will see you one day, my son, but until then, may your life be a good and fruitful one. Farewell. The spirit of Enoch had faded. Naruto could see a light embrace the dark mist of Enoch's soul, as if Ishtar had kissed her lover once more. Naruto's wings unfolded as he flew to meet his subjects. He flew as the dark mist was gone. Enoch's soul found peace after 10,000 long years, and Naruto was proud to be his legacy. Naruto flew and landed before his subjects, his armor manifesting and wings becoming a cloak. Enoch Balier, first emperor of mankind, has moved on, his soul finding peace after so long. I am now the king of Arcadia, Naruto said to the thousands of magical creatures who knelt before him. Brock came with the iron crown of Enoch and Naruto wore it upon his head. There will be no more stagnation. No more hiding. It is time we take back what once was ours. The mighty empire will be rebuilt soon. The sacrifices of my mentor and your ancestors will not be in vain. The age of the Otsutsuki is over. Now is THR age of Arcadia. In one voice, all the peoples in Arcadia, all the creatures of magic who are descendants of the flood survivors, shouted in one, loud, single voice, "Long live the king! Long live the king! Long live the king!" Naruto, now the king of Arcadia, sat down on a chair on the courtyard of his golden ziggurat palace and looked out to see the sun shine over his majestic city. The buildings were made of valuable metals like gold and silver and decorated with precious stones like pearls, onyx and obsidian. The streets were made of bronze and the city in all its splendor shone like polished glass. Naruto smiled to himself, proud of being the king of such a great kingdom and being heir to his great master. A shadow was watching Naruto from behind. The shadowy Fugure jumped and hugged Naruto, who didn't flinch in the slightest. It was the transformed Yugo, now an obedient maid to her new master. Naruto wasn't bothered in the slightest by Yugo's warm hands and on his body. He drank his wine and continued marveling at the sight of his beautiful city. His other servant, Gurren, had chosen to make herself known. She now pledged her undying loyalty to Naruto and didn't regret it, since the blonde was a better master to serve than Orochimaru ever was. "Master, the reports from the elven merchants has come in. Exotic clothings of fine silk and jewels have been sold at the markets in the elemental nations and a surplus of food has been brought back," the crystal user reported. Trade was a necessity for every nation to boost its economy. Exotic wares, fine clothing, metals, weapons and more were found in great abundance in Naruto's kingdom. Naruto wanted to ensure Arcadia was the dominant economic power in the world. The elves under disguise could sell these in the markets and bring in valuable things like food. Nod was a scorched land. In order to save his people, Enoch burned it with magical fire that would take Naruto a lot of his power to heal. Now that Arcadia had a leader, one chosen by the powerful king, it can now officially become a nation like it did many thousands of years ago. With an army whose numbers and might is matched by none, no nation would dare to fight Arcadia. The land of snow and the land of demons had set up outposts for trade and tourism. Rather easy seeing as their leaders were betrothed to the king. Wave Country also had dealings with Arcadia since Naruto was considered a hero. The land of T2 had trade deals, and all these nations blossomed greatly with the trade they had with Arcadia, increasing in trade and prestige that would have been impossible for countries like them. A job well done on the elven mercantile guilds, I must say. Naruto commented as he looked at the report. With Arcadia's vast wealth, it would soon become the leading economic powerhouse in less than a decade. That and the dwarves could make fine weapons for any nation needing such means that Arcadia had everything a country could want. And what is the current status of the 5 great nations? The Leaf has suffered some major blows since Wave has cut ties following your kidnapping and sentence. The Sand still suffers from economic hardships but is recovering. Stone and Cloud are fine, but the Mist is still engulfed in a civil war, Master. Gurren replied, and her master nodded his head in understanding. Tell the elves to establish an outpost on Sand. Gaara must be happy to finally have some stability. And tell the dwarves to. Naruto was silenced when Yugo fed him a cake. Being that the cake was his favorite flavor, Naruto ate it fast. As I was saying, tell the dwarves to get 10,000 of my silver wraiths ready. We are going to Mist. Mist? Master, are you planning to intervene in the war? A good way to test my power and for any nation to know what will happen should they interfere in Arcadia's sovereignty. Naruto finished just as another cake came directly in his mouth. He wished Enoch was still here because he wanted to ask what was going on his mind when he fused Yugo with a Shoggoth. Your wish is my command, Master. Gurren then left to carry out Naruto's orders and to leave for Mist immediately. Mist Village, Water Country. Mei Terumi was a beautiful woman with auburn hair that covered her right eye. A powerful ninja with two bloodlines, she led the rebel faction to war against the oppressive forces of Yagura for years. The war seemed to not come any closer to ending, but that ended today. As she was sitting in her office, her right-hand man Ao came inside her office. "Yes, Ao?" she asked as the Jonin with the implanted Byakugan eye entered. "Lady Mei, there is a man here who wants to speak to you." Ao said, "If it's another of Yagura's men who just acts suicidal, you are free to execute him, Ao." Mei replied, not wanting to deal with those kind again. "No, Lady Mei, it's a different matter. Says his leader wants to help us in fighting Yagura." Ao told his leader and it got her interest. "Show me this man at once." Mei left to meet the man who apparently was a messenger to hear what he had to say. Mei saw the messenger and was, to put it frankly, weirded out by him. He was robed in all black, had an iron helmet and his mouth had no lips. His fang-like yellow teeth visible from his lipless mouth. "You are the messenger, I presume." Mei Terumi spoke to the man who nodded. "Yes, I speak for the king of Arcadia. He is willing to lend you his aid in your war. If you accept, he will arrive with 10,000 of his warriors tomorrow and give you the victory you so desire." The messenger spoke in a rough, strange accent and Mei Terumi was skeptical about the whole deal. "And what does your king want from us? Surely there is a reason why he is helping us." "The king's reasons are his reasons. I only deliver his messages. Do you accept or do you not? What are you going to do, Lady Mei?" Ao whispered to his leader's ears. Mei thinking it over very carefully. No choice. They needed to end this war as soon as possible, by any means necessary. With a puff, Mei gave the messenger her answer. "I accept your king's aid." "Very well. I shall deliver your reply." The messenger got atop his horse and ran as fast as lightning over the water to return to Arcadia. The next day, Naruto wore his new, royal uniform. Made by the dwarves and enchanted with powerful magic, Naruto looked in the mirror and adjusted himself. He finished and found it, a fitting uniform. It was early morning and he was getting ready to depart for the land of water. Yesterday, his messenger returned and openly declared Arcadia's war on Yagura and all of Water Country. A suicidal move in the eyes of some but not to the king of Arcadia. His power eclipsed those of any Kage and his army was superior to shinobi and samurai. This was the perfect opportunity to show the world the true power of Arcadia and he will do it. "The ships are ready to depart, my master." Gurren entered Naruto's room, heavily blushing upon seeing her master. The blonde was handsome and muscular, completely different from how he looked like in the Leaf. He was more handsome than the Uchihas and looked more regal than any daimyo could ever dream of. "Time to reveal Arcadia's power to the world, my loyal concubine." "Let's move," Naruto said to the crystal user who nodded and walked with her master to the ships. The ships sailed from the port city of Uruk to the rebel hideout on Mist Village. After a long journey spanning 3 hours, they reached the shores of Water Country and docked. The Mist rebels came out in the hundreds and surrounded the ships, guarding their leader in case the king tried anything. As if they could actually do anything to Naruto with their meager power. "Stand your ground, these people are our allies," Mei Terumi said to her soldiers who calmed down a bit. She then caught first glance at the king of Arcadia, coming down the ramp in his uniform. Needless to say, Mei Terumi was blushing. "Oh mama, gimme, gimme, gimme. Are you Mei Terumi, the leader of the Mist Rebel faction?" Naruto asked and the blushing Mei Terumi could only nod. "I am the king of Arcadia, here to help you in your war." Thank you for helping us, your majesty. Any help is of great value for us." Just then, a mist shinobi came running in the front, panting heavily. "Lady Mei, Yagura has come with his whole army," he shouted and many of the rebels were panicking. Mei Terumi included. "Showtime." Naruto spoke in a low voice and he looked at Gurren. "Bring my armor, Gurren. Let them know what happens when the dragon of Arcadia roars." Naruto, in his battle armor, looked at the thousands of mist shinobi rushing towards his position. Ignoring Mei's protests about his reckless actions, Naruto stood in front of the mist ninjas and stared at them unimpressed. "Is this all? I must say I am rather unimpressed. Bring me Yagura Karatachi to fight and I may spare your lives." Naruto's threats, however, were met with laughter. "You, face the Mizukage? In your dreams," said a mist shinobi and Naruto used his powers to choke him. Naruto lifted him up in the air and snapped his neck. "Bring him here and I may spare your lives," Naruto said again, but the mist shinobi ignored him and prepared to fight. "What a bunch of fools." Naruto spoke and crafted 2 swords from the iron beneath him and moved in to slaughter the mist ninja. Naruto split the first shinobi in half, then cut through a dozen of them in the blink of an eye. He jumped, dodging 2 katana swings and twirled his swords, stabbing the ninja in their backs. A mist shinobi fired a water shark bomb, but it evaporated when it neared Naruto. A water dragon came up and Naruto phased through it, making the water dragon kill 5 mist shinobi. Naruto then tore through their ranks in blinding speed, killing over 500 in just a minute. Many in the rebel ranks were shocked to see such a display of sword skills. Such a thing was considered impossible in the field of taijutsu or kenjutsu, with extremely powerful shinobi like Hashirama Senju or Madara Uchiha capable of such feats. Gurren simply put on a sadistic smile at seeing her master rampaging against these cannon fodders. Naruto jumped up and stood on the air. Magic circles appeared all around him, and with just a single hand gesture, he shot 250 swords from the circles. Hundreds of mist shinobi were massacred as the hail of swords came flying down upon them. Once it was over, Naruto flew down and pulled 2 mist shinobi and stabbed them with his swords. The Mizukage watched everything from a nearby cliff, fear crawling up his spine as he saw his men slaughtered as if they were nothing. "You must be the 4th Mizukage. For someone of your status, I imagined more. How should I say? Someone who is an adult." Naruto commented at seeing Yagura. In anger, Yagura jumped down and with his trusty club, tried to kill Naruto, but the blonde jumped away in time. "You will die here, whoever you are. The water daimyo has arrived with tens of thousands of his samurai. I will use the full power of the 3 tails to eliminate you if I must." "So I see. Well, that's the moment I've been waiting for," Naruto said and fired a red beam into the air. "What was that supposed to be?" Yagura asked and got his answer when he heard the sound of war horns. He looked and saw massive 20-meter-tall armored war elephants charging at the combined army ranks. A.N. For the Arcadian war elephants, think of the elephants from King Arthur. Legend of the Sword, except with longer tusks, and the forts on the elephants are made of iron, not wood. The samurai and shinobi valiantly charged at the incoming war elephants, but the elephants tore through them like butter. The catapults on the elephants were unleashing large stone boulders, and the archers on board the fortresses of the elephants were raining arrows. The infantry of Arcadia came charging out from the woods, spears in hands, and they slaughtered all the enemies. Nothing the shinobi and samurai did could work on the silver wraiths, they could just reform themselves. "You bastard!" Yagura shouted and went into his stage 2 cloak. He fired a tailed beast beam, but Naruto deflected it no problem. "That all you got?" Naruto put out his hand and blood-red lightning came out from hands, electrocuting Yagura. "So much for the rank of Kage." Naruto called out, and his sword, the dreaded Narada, came to his side. Yagura got angrier and transformed into the 3 tails. Naruto smirked and used his Rinne Sharingan to manifest his skeletal, dark blue Susanoo. The Susanoo of the Rinne Sharingan was bigger and far more powerful than a Mangekyo, and not even a tailed beast could match its power. The Susanoo deflected Yagura's tailed beast bomb with ease. Yagura came charging in a rolled-up ball-like form, but the Susanoo grabbed it and threw him down. The Susanoo punched Yagura right in the face, the impact making a shock wave that could be felt in the entire country. Yagura came to attack with his 3 tails, but the Susanoo grabbed them and threw Yagura aside. Yagura spat out a river of water that could cut through stone, and the Susanoo breathed out a sea of fire. Naruto used his magic and lifted up huge building-sized rocks and threw them at Yagura. "Is this the power of a tailed beast? It's absolutely disappointing," Naruto commented as his Susanoo formed a laser beam in its mouth and shot it at Yagura. "I'm bored, so I'll give you the benefit of a quick death," Naruto said, and the Susanoo shot another beam empowered by the Narada and Hades Ring. Yagura transformed back into his normal self, now free of the genjutsu that plagued him for years. He was dying, but at least he was free. He saw the blonde man who was responsible for this approaching him. Thank you. For what? For freeing me. For years, I've been controlled by a horrible genjutsu, but now, you set me free. For that, thank you. You are Welcome, 4th Mizukage, but I'm sorry that I had to kill you. It's okay. I don't want to live anymore after everything I was forced to do. But before I die, tell me your name. Naruto. Uzumaki. Thank you, Naruto. Yagura spoke his final words as the Narada came down and decapitated him. Naruto, accompanied by Gurren and Yugo, made camp near the border of Wind Country. 2 days ago, Naruto won the war in Mist and got the country and shinobi village as an ally for his kingdom. After that, he got word from his best spies that Orochimaru's base was in Grass Country. Naruto hated the snake very much and wanted to end his pathetic life himself. The fire was bright and warm. The birds and animals sleeping under the starry night when Naruto felt the presence of someone watching him. He used his power to trap the man and bring the man in front of him. Imagine his surprise to find that it was his godfather, Jiraiya the Toad Sage. "You," Naruto said in a cold voice as he saw the pervert again after 3 years. "Naruto, you are the king of Arcadia?" Jiraiya exclaimed in surprise, and both Gurren and Yugo came to their master's defense. "Master, are you alright?" Gurren asked in concern while Yugo turned her arms to become a multitude of weapons, protecting Naruto. "I am fine and unharmed. Stand down, Gurren, Yugo." Naruto commanded and the two complied. "What are you doing here, Jiraiya? I thought you would be somewhere else, peeking at women bathing in hot springs." Tsunade asked me if I could find any information regarding the new mercantile guild that mysteriously popped up out of nowhere and was going to overtake the Haruno guild, and about the new king of Arcadia who won the war in Mist. "Never thought it would be you of all people. I was always full of surprises. And they asked you to find anything on my elven merchants?" Tisk, the leaf always was like this, trying to eliminate any threats to their power, militarily or economically. A sentiment that arose from Tobirama Senju's policies. Shame my father died too soon to extinguish such feelings. Naruto's words made Jiraiya's eyes go wide. "Father? Naruto, you know that my father is Minato Namikaze, your student and 4th Hokage?" "Yes. Who told you?" "Only the Hokage, his advisors, the clan heads, Kakashi and Tsunade and me knew this secret. It's one of the Leaf's most classified secrets. My master knew many things. His vast power enabled him to see past, present and future. Not everything but moments he wanted to focus on. Big events in this world. Naruto, you have every right to be mad at your father for what he did and on Sarutobi-sensei for hiding your parentage, but please understand that. Oh, I already forgave my father a long time ago. What? He and my mother left a portion of their chakra in my body in case the seal guarding the 9 tails was near broken. The fox is already dead anyways. We had a nice chat and I decided to forgive my father. I understand why he did it. As a leader, but as a son, that is an entirely different matter altogether." "Thank the sage," Jiraiya said in relief. "Naruto, what happened that day shouldn't have happened in the first place. The council had gone behind my back and removed your chakra. I took you as my apprentice and you were under my jurisdiction, but the council took advantage of me not being there and did whatever they choose. I'm sorry, don't be. Their actions made me wake up to reality. I could never become Hokage. It was all just the dreams of a delusional child who could not accept truth. I am not that child. Not anymore. I am free of that prison that is the Leaf, and now, I am the king of Arcadia." "What happened to you, Naruto? What changed you to become this?" "A long story. Yugo, prepare some tea for our guest here. I have a long discussion with him." Naruto ordered and Yugo proceeded to boil some tea. "Yugo? As in Yugo Izuki, the Anbu captain? I thought she was dead. What happened?" "In my defense, it was my master's idea and I had no say in the matter." "Come, Jiraiya, sit. We have much to talk about." "Sit? Where?" Jiraiya asked just as a wooden chair manifested from the ground. "Wood style? How?" "All shall be explained given time. Please, have a drink," Naruto said, and Yugo placed the tea on the wooden table that grew out of the ground. Jiraiya listened as Naruto told him of what happened in the last 3 years. How he was saved from the Leaf by 2 dwarves and became the apprentice to Enoch Balier, the king of Arcadia. How Enoch trained him intensely in swords, crafting, magic and politics. Naruto's adventures in Snow and Demon Country and the war in Mist. That's incredible. It's almost too good to believe, but here you are. Making wood grow from the ground without chakra, and Yugo turned into a slime monster. Jiraiya said in a voice full of wonder. Naruto, I know that the leaf wronged you in many ways, but please, don't destroy it. Unlike many in the leaf who held grudges against me for the fox. I don't hold to these grudges, but that doesn't mean I forgive them. If I wanted to, I can easily use my whole army and raze that village to the ground, but I chose not to. I am better than these blind fools. However, should their hate and greed turn towards my kingdom or allies, I will not hesitate to show them my wrath. That is good enough to hear. I doubt the leaf would be dumb enough to move against a nation like Arcadia. You'd be surprised by the extent of human greed, Jiraiya. Greed blinds us, makes us do things that we regret, and it ultimately consumes us. Greed, pride, lust and more are what caused man's downfall. Naruto spoke like an enlightened individual. I shared with you my secrets and I would want it to stay with you only. Do not tell the leaf that I am king of Arcadia. Their hate will come like a plague to my nation and I will be forced to burn that village to the ground. Many countries like the stone would be glad to see the leaf become ashes. You have my word, Naruto. What will you do now? I know where Orochimaru's base is located. I will kill that snake. Painfully for killing the only person in the leaf who took care of me from the day I was born. I don't feel so sad for Orochimaru. I thought you were going to the sand since the Akatsuki attacked the village, kidnapping Gaara. Now that's surprising. I suppose I'll go first to sand and rescue Gaara. The leaf already sent a team consisting of Kakashi, your pink-haired teammate, and Guy's team. That could cause some trouble for me if I snap and take revenge on Sakura and Neji for what they did that day. I'm sure the leaf wouldn't become hostile to strangers. Oh, and before I forget, I made a deal with a kunoichi of the all-kunoichi village, Nadeshiko. The deal was that my apprentice, you, would fight her apprentice, and should you win, you would have to take her student as your wife. Can you, do it for me? For old time's sake? Jiraiya said in a sheepish smile, and the blonde king wasn't fazed. Good night, Jiraiya. I'll see you next time. Until we meet again, Naruto. Jiraiya said his goodbye and left the area. Naruto got inside his tent to sleep and waited for the sun to rise and meet his friend once more. The next day, Naruto was hovering about in the air above Wind Country, using his Rinne Sharingan to see vast distances. He was trying to find his friend across the desert when he finally found him. He also sensed the leaf teams and an army of sand ninja nearby, and he flew near their position. His wings becoming a cloak, and he made a mask of pure darkness to hide his face. Naruto walked towards the fallen body of his friend, ignoring the protests made by the sand ninja as he continued to get closer to Gaara. He could sense the One-Tails was gone and Gaara was dying. It bothered him not, for he had power over life and death. Move aside, Naruto said, and he stood before Gaara's corpse. Who are you? His former teammate, Sakura Haruno, asked in a demanding voice. A friend of Gaara's, Naruto simply replied. Friend? But Gaara doesn't have friends. Temari spoke as she had a look at the mystery person. Once he recognizes me, he will welcome me in open arms like he did so long ago. Now, move aside, Naruto ordered as he used his Rinne Sharingan to summon the King of Hell and bring Gaara back to life. Gaara gasped as he took in air. Everyone was filled with joy at seeing the sand user alive once more. Temari hugged her brother immediately now that he was alive. Gaara, you're alive, Temari? How is this possible? The Shukaku. He was, Gaara asked in disbelief at his resurrection. This man brought you back to life. He said he was a friend. Temari answered her brother, and the latter looked at the cloaked Naruto. I don't know who this man is. Who are you? What? It's clear the case cage doesn't know you, so spill the beans. Who are you, mister? Sakura demanded as she prepared her fist for a fight. Now, Sakura. No need to be so hostile. Remember that this man brought the case cage back to life. Sorry for my student's attitude, sir. It's clear you have great power. Mind telling us your name? Kakashi Hitaki asked, trying to become friendly with the man who he did not know was his student. Case cage? To think you would become the leader of the village that scorned you. You truly became what I could not have been. Congratulations are in order, I suppose. And as for me, I am just a friend. Naruto said and disappeared into black mist. Night came over the village hidden in sand. People celebrated the return of their case cage, and Gaara was in his office with his siblings and Jonin-sensei when Naruto came in. Nice office, Naruto said, revealing his presence to everyone. Identify yourself, demanded Gaara's brother Kankuro with his puppets drawn. Wait, Kankuro. Stand down. This man saved my life. We shouldn't be so hostile. You saved my life and for that I am grateful, but you said you are my friend. I don't remember ever meeting you before. Gaara said to the cloaked Naruto, who just chuckled. But we have met before, Gaara. Naruto said and unveiled his mask, revealing his mask and shocking everyone. N Naruto? Is that you? You hit the gold mine. Naruto replied and Gaara smiled. It's really you. What happened to you? How did you resurrect me and what happened to your eyes? A long story. Naruto then told Gaara of what happened in the last 3 years and needless to say, everyone listening was shocked. That's almost unbelievable, Gaara commented as he got out of his shock. The elves will set up an outpost here in Sand. Thought your village would benefit greatly by the goods provided by my kingdom. Wait, the new merchant guild that popped up? They're yours? Tamari asked and Naruto just smirked. Indeed. You will find Arcadian clothes, weapons and perfume are far better and of higher quality than any here in the East. Naruto said and walked up to the window, spreading his wings in full view. It was nice meeting you again, Gaara. I wish you good health and wisdom for your future. Naruto flew out to the night sky and meet up with his comrades. Now, it was time to eliminate the snake once and for all. Grass Country. Naruto, accompanied by Gurren, Yugo and 8,000 of his silver wraiths, stood in front of the hidden base. He would finally rid the world of Orochimaru's stain and spread Arcadia's power throughout the nations. Naruto put out his hand and 3 balls of fire were dancing atop his hand. He threw them at the base, causing an explosion. Go! Leave the prisoners alive but slaughter anyone who dares to oppose you. The snake is mine to kill. Naruto commanded his army as they moved inside the base. The sound ninja were coming in the dozens but they were no match for the silver wraiths. The cold, emotionless metal soldiers of Arcadia slaughtered any and all sound ninja who came their way. The prisoners who were captured by Orochimaru for experimentation were freed and they came running outside. What is that ruckus? Spoke one Sasuke Uchiha as he came outside. He heard the sounds of fighting and killing ringing about in the halls. He heard screams of men panicking, begging for mercy before they were silenced. A silver wraith came in his sight and Sasuke prepared to fight. Who are you? What are you doing here in the sound? The wraith spoke no word for they had no tongue. The wraith charged at Sasuke with sword and spear in hand. Sasuke shot out a fireball, shattering the wraith to pieces. I didn't want to kill you but you forced me. Wait, what? Sasuke said, bewildered at the wraith reforming its body. Just what the hell are you? The wraith attacked Sasuke who blocked with his Chikuto. Sasuke was the superior swordman by far but the wraith wasn't human. Sasuke found it difficult to overpower the strength of the wraith. The silver wraith kicked Sasuke to the wall and prepared to kill. Sasuke dodged the spear in time and enlaced his sword with lightning and sliced the wraith in half. The wraith however, reformed its body once more and more wraiths came to their position. Sasuke, knowing that he didn't stand a chance, retreated to Orochimaru's position hoping he and the snake can stand a better chance. Sasuke came to Orochimaru's throne room and found the snake, Kabuto and about 5 sound ninja in the room. Orochimaru, you better have a plan to survive this. The silver wraiths came in by the dozens and surrounded Orochimaru's party but they didn't attack. The ground above broke and in came Gurren. Orochimaru, your days of living are over. Gurren? So, these things are your creations? Orochimaru asked in a twisted smile. If so, then I kill you and they will die. Oh, they are not my creations, Orochimaru. These silver wraiths are my masters. Master? You serve a new master? He must be very kind if he brought someone like you in his ranks. No matter. I will kill him and take these toys for myself. You can try. The king of Arcadia has deemed your life worth killing and he always carries out his sentences. King of Arcadia? The same one who killed Yagura Karatachi a few days back? Kabuto Yakushi asked as a shadow manifested near Gurren. The one and only. Naruto said, fully manifesting in his battle armor. Your free trial of living has expired, Orochimaru. Now, it's time to pay for everything you have done. That ability of his makes the shadow technique of the Naras look like child's play. I must learn it, Orochimaru thought in his head. Get him! He ordered to all his men who sprang up to attack Naruto. Unimpressed, Naruto put forth his hand and lightning came out, turning all the sound and into ashes. Sending others to weaken your opponent while you move in to deal the finish blow. So much for your so-called strength, Naruto said in an unimpressed voice. You will address Lord Orohhhh. Kabuto was then sent flying to the wall and into the next room. Naruto could not tolerate the traitor's foul mouth as one would a fly. Naruto walked up to face Orochimaru and saw Sasuke with his Chikudo drawn. You would face me, Sasuke Uchiha? You can be a good test to know how strong I have become. To see if I can defeat Itachi or not. You dare compare me with your brother? If it's a fight you want, I'll give you one. I will win this fight, King of Arcadia. I've trained my whole life to surpass Itachi and I've grown stronger in these past years. I'm more powerful than even you realize. HMPH. Twice the pride, double the fall. Face me first, then you can boast about it. Naruto said and unsheathed his sword, the dreaded Narada. Sasuke came in to strike but Naruto blocked. Sasuke came attacking with fast strikes but Naruto countered every blow, even managing to land a hit on Sasuke's leg. Kabuto came charging at Naruto with a chakra scalpel but the King of Arcadia sent a wave of electricity from his hand at Kabuto. The medic Nin was sent flying back to his crater again. Well, Sasuke Uchiha, they always spoke so highly of you. The prodigy of the clan who could one day surpass his older brother. Your skills are not even half of what I expected. Surely you can do better. Naruto said and unleashed a wave of lightning at Sasuke. Sasuke used his Chikudo to deflect the lightning and he sent a fireball at Naruto. The blonde tanked the fireball, completely unharmed, and his left arm transformed into 3 big dragons who unleashed a sea of flames. Sasuke enlaced his sword and hand with Chidori and attacked Naruto in a speed very few can match. Naruto saw every move and blocked every strike. My turn now. Naruto went on the offensive and Sasuke found it impossible to win in this scenario. He used his curse mark stage 2 to gain an advantage but nothing he did could earn him an advantage over the blonde. Naruto used his power and lifted Sasuke, then tossing him like a doll and towards Orochimaru. Sasuke in his anger activated his Mangekyo and the Amaterasu came to life, engulfing Naruto but the blonde absorbed the Amaterasu. Sasuke was shocked to the core. Such a thing was unthinkable. Sasuke activated his Susanoo and punched Naruto but the blonde waved the Narada, shattering the Susanoo like glass. Naruto unleashed a wave of blood-red lightning at Sasuke, badly injuring the Uchiha. Your skills are a great disappointment to me, Sasuke. And to think the leaf favored you so highly. Just goes to show how pathetic the leaf has become. Naruto said to his former teammate. He was disappointed at seeing Sasuke's current level and he felt hatred for the leaf for favoring Sasuke over him. Who are you? Tell me. I sense something familiar about you but I don't know. Tell me who you are. Sasuke demanded and Naruto chuckled. I am the King of Arcadia. The heir to Enoch Balier and Ishtar Otsutsuki. The Vermilion Khan, the Emperor clothed in purple, Lord of the Leviathans, Dragon's Bane, the Obsidian Prince, the Lagal of Uruk, Kish, Lagash, and all of Nod. The Bane of the Otsutsuki. I am Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto revealed his name and took of his helmet and crown, showing his face to Sasuke who was shocked beyond belief. Orochimaru gave out a chuckle as he prepared his Kusanagi. To think the former dead last of the leaf would gain so much power. You have become even more powerful than Sasuke, Naruto, and I will enjoy taking your body. Orochimaru then charged at Naruto but a powerful wind from the blonde stopped him. You can try, Orochimaru, but this world hardly belongs to the ambitions of a senile failure like you. Naruto pushed Orochimaru with a strong wind, sending him crashing through 3 walls. Orochimaru came again and Naruto forged a sword, throwing it and cutting off Orochimaru's arm. Naruto's hand glowed dark blue and the ground shook as the earth trapped Orochimaru. Naruto lifted the ground beneath Orochimaru and then turned it upside down, slamming him. A giant snake came out to swallow Naruto but the blonde made an energy saw and sliced the snake in half. Naruto lifted huge boulders, throwing them all at Orochimaru who kept avoiding them. Orochimaru spat out 1,000 snakes but Naruto burnt them all with his pyrokinesis. How can you be this strong? I am Orochimaru, I will become a god among shinobi. You should surrender your body to me. Naruto! Sasuke shouted from atop the ground. The sky was black and lightning was screaming as Sasuke prepared his jutsu. I'm sorry, but this time, you must die for real. Lightning style. Kirin. And a large lightning creature came down to strike Naruto. A huge explosion occurred on the base. Orochimaru barely escaping the jutsu, but something strange happened. The explosion started getting smaller and both Sasuke and Orochimaru saw Naruto eating the explosion. Impressive jutsu, Sasuke, but not enough. Naruto taunted as he enjoyed seeing Sasuke's face of absolute horror. How? Sasuke gasped out, unable to fathom how his most powerful jutsu could be rendered so useless. Now why should I tell? Naruto's arms started glowing blood red and an unbelievable amount of power was felt. You killed the only man in the leaf who took care of me from the day I was born, Orochimaru. Your pitiful existence has come to an end, Naruto declared as he unleashed the blood-red energy at Orochimaru. The energy pierced Orochimaru in the heart and light came out of his eyes and mouth. A bright ray of blood-red light engulfed Orochimaru and he died a painful death. Sasuke saw Orochimaru's corpse, blood coming out all over and the body was smelling like burnt flesh. Sasuke in fear ran away as fast as he could. Naruto allowed his former teammate to run. Sasuke, knowing he could never achieve his current level of power and to live every day with that reminder was good enough for Naruto. Run, Sasuke. Flee like the coward you are. You could not defeat me in the Valley of the End and you could barely scratch me now. Live knowing that you can never attain power like me, the Dragon of Arcadia. Naruto had just killed Orochimaru. The most wanted and hated nuke nin in shinobi history was dead. Naruto used his power to lift the Kusanagi and bring it closer to him. An indestructible blade that had a deadly poison and can cut through anything, the Kusanagi no longer had a master. Naruto infused his will into the blade, destroying every ounce of Orochimaru's power in it and he turned it into a weapon for his Susanoo. Naruto walked out of the base and saw the hundreds of captured men, women and children who were held by Orochimaru for experimentation. You are free now. Your life is yours again. The snake is dead. You may go wherever you like and do as you wish. Naruto spoke to them but they seemed hesitant. One of them came up to speak to Naruto. We are grateful that you have set us free, sir, but we have nowhere to go. Our villages were burned and all our homes destroyed. Please, help us this one more time, begged the man, bowing down in front of Naruto. Very well. I am Naruto Uzumaki, King of Arcadia. I will allow you to become citizens of my kingdom. There, you can build new homes, farm crops and be what you want. Give me your undying loyalty and I will fulfill my word. You will find that I am a kinder man than the snake ever will be. Naruto said and everyone seemed happy. Naruto opened a portal using his great power that led to the gate of Arcadia. The people walked to the portal and into Arcadia, overjoyed and finally being free and having a home. Gurren came close to her master as she wanted to ask a question. Master, if you don't mind me asking, why didn't you open a portal back when we were going to assist the Mist Rebels? I simply wanted to stretch my legs and feel the ocean again. Nothing more, Naruto replied and he tilted his head elsewhere. Leaf Ninja were near. Something wrong, master? Leaf Ninja. 4 of them. You and Yugo stay here with the Silver Wraiths. I will deal with them myself. Naruto spoke as he hid his face behind an iron mask and his wings becoming a cloak. The hood covering his blonde hair as he walked to face the Leaf Team. Tenchi Bridge. The Leaf Team consisted of Sakura Haruno, Sai, Yamato and Kakashi Hatake. After Sakura defeated Sasori of the Red Sands in Wind Country, she managed to get the Akatsuki member to tell her where Orochimaru's base was. With the information they needed required, Tsunade dispatched a team of the Leaf's finest to infiltrate Orochimaru's base and get Sasuke Uchiha back to the Leaf, by any means necessary. Kakashi was a bit hesitant at first to have Sakura on his team. Heki nearly wanted to revoke her shinobi status but her strong determination made him change his mind. Sakura changed in these past years, for the better and she trained hard so that she'll be strong enough to bring Sasuke back and apologize to Naruto. He was proud of how she turned out. Yamato was simply a codename. The only experiment of Orochimaru concerning the first Hokage's cells that survived, Yamato's original given name was Tenzo and he used to help Kakashi in the Anbu. Now, he was to help him again in this important mission. Sai on the other hand was an unknown. He suspected Danzo had a different motive in sending the paint user and Kakashi had to keep his guard up. Alright team, Yamato will take up his Sasori disguise and Kakashi's briefing was interrupted as they felt a presence. Imagine their shock when they saw the same man who resurrected Gaara appear on the bridge. How? What is he doing there? Sakura asked. She did not trust the unknown man because he would not answer her questions. She doubted he'll answer any questions they would ask. Come out Leaf Shinobi, I can sense all four of you. Naruto shouted to the Leaf Nin and they body flickered in front of him. Their hands were ready to draw weapons or weave signs but it was of little concern to Naruto. We meet again here it seems. Kakashi said, trying not to fight because the man in front of him held unknown power. Mind telling us what you are doing here? I deduce that you are here, searching for Orochimaru and to get the Uchiha back. Naruto said and the Leaf Nin held expressions of surprise. So I guessed correct after all. The Uchiha fled the coward he is. Regarding the snake, well, I killed him. Naruto made a portal and he threw Orochimaru's corpse in full view of them. The Leaf Ninja were shocked. The most wanted man in their village's history, the one who killed the third Hokage, was dead. His corpse was there in front of them. Kakashi was especially shocked. He could not dare to face Orochimaru all those years ago and yet, this mystery man did it. How? Kakashi whispered out in a soft voice as a powerful aura radiating from the man forced them down. I wild power unlike any you can hope to reach or fathom. Cross me and you will meet the same fate. If you doubt my power, I will show you some of it. Naruto said as he used his power to lift Orochimaru's base. The Leaf Ninja were stunned to see the base, at least the size of a small village to a hill, lifted out of the ground. In a snap, the base exploded in a bright, white light. Leave with your lives, Leaf Shinobi. Know that I am merciful today. With the aura gone, Naruto vanished in black mist and the Leaf Shinobi were free to move. Kakashi sealed the burnt corpse of Orochimaru and ordered his team to go back home immediately. -2 days later, Naruto had been keeping in touch with Jiraiya via the perverted Toad's spy network. In his last message, Jiraiya told Naruto that he had arranged for him and the Nadeshiko Kunoichi to meet. Naruto wasn't too concerned about getting multiple wives as his predecessors all the way back to Enoch had multiple spouses. That and marriages were also tools in getting alliances, trade deals and more. With Yugo in hiding along with the Silver Wraiths, Naruto and Gurren were waiting for the Nadeshiko Kunoichi. According to Jiraiya, the one who would be his bride was named Shizuka and her sensei was named Takiwa. By now, they were expected to arrive half an hour ago. Thankfully for anybody in the surrounding area, Naruto was a patient man and he would not use his powers for petty reasons. Boom! An explosion was heard and the people were fleeing. Gurren quickly prepared to defend her master from any and all aggression. Naruto walked out of the bar he was in and saw a man in a machine being bested by a cloaked kunoichi. Naruto noted the kunoichi's appearance and found it similar to Jiraiya's letter. Naruto hoped it was the Nadeshiko kunoichi he was to wed and approached her. "Excuse me miss, but would you happen to be Shizuka of Nadeshiko village?" Naruto asked and the kunoichi faced him. "Yes, I am. Are you Naruto Uzumaki?" the kunoichi asked and Naruto did a formal Arcadian bow. "That I am." "Then let us proceed shall we, Mr. Naruto? Come Lady Shizuka." Her sensei, Takiwa said as she led both Naruto and Shizuka to secluded area of the forest nearby. "Iron prison," Takiwa said as the ground beneath them shook and iron walls appeared. The Silver Wraiths and Yugo appeared but Naruto told them to wait and stand down. Nadeshiko style, roaring gale chop. Shizuka enlaced her fist with wind chakra and she came charging at Naruto. The blonde king used his power and the attack phased right through him. "Most impressive. Such fine chakra," Naruto commented. "How did you doesn't matter." Nadeshiko style, majestic wind dragon. Shizuka breathed out a wind dragon with golden markings that came to attack Naruto. The blonde made a red force field that negated the dragon and made 4 red, spinning saw blades to attack Shizuka. The kunoichi dodged all the attacks and she unleashed a barrage of kunai at Naruto. The blonde's wings came out and made a strong wind that blew the kunai away. Nadeshiko style, deadly tempest. Shizuka made 2 whips of wind, but they were negated by Naruto's wings. Naruto lifted boulders from the ground beneath and threw them at Shizuka. The kunoichi destroyed the rocks easily and managed to dodge Naruto's dark blue energy beam just in time. Shizuka landed, but before she could plan her next attack, Naruto beat her to it. Naruto's arm transformed into 4 dragon heads that breathed fire, and Shizuka managed to dodge them. She threw more kunai, but Naruto opened a portal that sent them away. Shizuka came with a wind chakra empowered punch, but Naruto's fingers turned to shadow tendrils and they trapped Shizuka in place. With Narada in his hands, Naruto walked up to Shizuka and placed his sword on her neck. Does this mean I win? Yes. By rule of Nadeshiko Village's law, we are now. Before Shizuka could finish, however, the same man she defeated earlier came with a bigger machine. Grr, this idiot again. Shizuka gritted her teeth in annoyance. "Da fuck?" said Naruto in confusion as the man started sprouting some nonsense that irritated the king of Arcadia. "His name is Kokuyo. He's some mad scientist that wants my hand in marriage. I've sent him flying away multiple times, but he refuses to give up," Shizuka said to Naruto, who got angry that someone wanted to have his bride. "Consider this an early wedding present," Naruto said, putting his hand forward and unleashing lightning. The mad scientist's puppet was destroyed and the man died with it. And that's that. Where were we? Yes. By law of Nadeshiko, I am your wife and you are my husband, Shizuka said, bowing down, but Naruto stopped her. "Why do you bow? Am I your master that you should bow to me?" "But, the customs, This may be hard for your part and I do not know your personal life, but from today, you are my wife. And you are no longer just a kunoichi but Queen of Arcadia. As my wife, you are a goddess among queens. Your status will be praised by the stars and the riches of the earth are yours," Naruto said as he used his power to make a tiara out of diamond and he presented it to her. "And I will try to be the best husband I can be for you." Shizuka was shocked to hear what Naruto said. Perhaps he wasn't as bad as she thought he would be. She looked at the beautiful diamond tiara and Naruto placed it on her head. "I will be the perfect wife for you too, Naruto," she said with a smile. Her sensei had tears in her eyes since this was the first time Shizuka smiled in years. "Tell me, Miss Takiwa, is your village or surrounding areas plagued by a demon? A spirit of some sort? I sensed something when we first met," Naruto asked, and the 2 kunoichi felt a bit uncomfortable. "Yes, Mr. Naruto. Legends say of a demon that can turn people to stone. We dismissed these legends, but recently, some people have indeed become solid statues, including one of our kunoichi," Takiwa informed Naruto, who immediately understood what they were dealing with. "A gorgon. I'm sorry, but what was that, Mr. Naruto?" "You are dealing with a gorgon. A monster that has the body of a woman but with snakes for hair that can turn humans and other creatures to stone. I will deal with that gorgon. Come, lead me to Nadeshiko," Naruto said, and the 2 lead him and his group to Nadeshiko village. Leaf Village. Tsunade was, for lack better word, angry. First, one of the Leaf's top jonin, Asuma Sarutobi, was killed by the Akatsuki after the 2 Tails was captured. Second, when Kakashi's team returned, the council had the nerve to demand their presence immediately. Tsunade fought the urge to pound Danzo, the elders and the civilian council for this act of blatant disrespect. "You got a lot of nerve summoning me here, Danzo," Tsunade said in a cold, angry voice, but the Warhawk ignored it. "We heard Jonin Hitaki has returned. We needed to hear the mission report as quickly as possible, Tsunade," Danzo said, and it made the Senju angrier. "That's Hokage to you, Danzo. Remember it," Tsunade hissed and quickly composed herself. "What do you have to report, Kakashi?" "Lady Tsunade, Orochimaru is dead," Kakashi said, and loud gasps were heard. No one in the room believed it. "DDD dead? How?" Tsunade asked, stunned to hear the news. Her former teammate who avoided death for so long was dead just like that. Kakashi unveiled a scroll and presented Orochimaru's corpse to everyone. "Remember when I said a mysterious man resurrected the case cage? He came back and killed Orochimaru," Kakashi informed, and Tsunade took in the news. "What of Sasuke Uchiha?" Sakura's mother, Mebuki Haruno, head of the Mercantile Guild, spoke the civilian side's concern. "According to our friend, he fled. I believe Sasuke is still alive," Kakashi said, much to the relief of the civilians. What can you tell us about this mystery man's powers, Kakashi? Danzo asked. To summarize, insane. If killing Orochimaru wasn't good enough, he demonstrated his power by lifting Orochimaru's entire base from the ground and destroyed it with a snap. His aura is unbelievable. Not even the Nine Tails comes close to his power. It's terrifying, to be honest. Kakashi spoke, surprising the shinobi side. Kakashi was a prodigy. He was active in the Third War and saw personally the brutality and horrors of war. He killed many enemy ninja without hesitation, and he wasn't 15 then. He was there the night the nine-tailed fox attacked, and he had successfully completed countless missions in the Anbu. If he was terrified of something, it was no joke at all. I make it a priority for all ninja in our ranks to capture this mystery man if possible should they encounter him. Clan heads included. Kakashi, you are assigned to be Team 10's temporary leader in their hunt for the Akatsuki duo of Hidan and Kakuzu. Dismissed, Tsunade said, and the council meeting was over. -2 days later, Shizuka, now wife to Naruto, was accompanying her husband on his eastern adventures. Naruto had ended the Gorgon's reign of terror by killing it in her sleep. Naruto then gave the Gorgon's power to her, and now she could turn people to stone at a gaze and control a green, poisonous energy. Gurren had informed her of Arcadian traditions and that she would have to share Naruto with the daimyo of Snow and priestess of Demon Country. The Snow daimyo had power over water and ice, while the priestess had the dark powers of a demon, thanks to Naruto. All three of them were extremely powerful, but Shizuka wanted to be stronger than her sisters, so she asked Naruto for some training in the mystic arts. The blonde king, finding no problem in his wife's request, agreed. He did help his other wives controlling their powers, so it was no big deal. Where are we going now, love? Shizuka asked her husband as she clutched onto his arm. I sense the Two Tails Jinchuriki not far, Shizuka. I want to help her. Naruto replied. He wanted to help all Jinchuriki if he was honest. They did not deserve the treatment they received in their villages, and Naruto would see to it that the system of using Jinchuriki and tailed beasts as weapons would be abolished from this world. In a secret cave lay the dead body of Yugito Ni. When it was clear the Akatsuki were after the tailed beasts following the capture of the fifth case cage, the Cloud had basically abandoned the Two Tails Jinchuriki. The Cloud's council having made clear the blonde Jonin was on her own when the Akatsuki came, and this too without the knowledge of the Raikage. When Hidan and Kakuzu entered the territory of the Cloud, the council made it clear to all shinobi that the Jinchuriki on their own. I had put a stop to this nonsense to save Killer Bee, but it was too late as Yugito was already captured and presumed dead. Naruto walked into the cave to inspect the body of Yugito Ni. The tailed beast was extracted and she was dead, but it meant little to the blonde king. He had power over life and death itself. He summoned the King of Hell and used it to bring the blonde Jinchuriki back to life. Yugito gasped as she breathed in and she saw the cloaked Uzumaki before her. Who are you? Yugito asked the cloaked king. A friend, you could say. The Akatsuki took the two-tailed cat inside you. Naruto informed her. That means, I'm dead. Are you the Grim Reaper? No, I brought you back to life. How? That's impossible. And yet you are alive now. Magic, both light and dark of the primeval waters of chaos, is a pathway to many abilities some would consider to be unnatural. Okay, who are you? I told you that I am a friend. One who suffered much like you, but unlike so many of us. I did not live to please these fools who looked down on us. No, I thrived on their hate and fear, used it to grow stronger. Are you a Jinchuriki? Former Jinchuriki to be exact, Yugito Ni. Which one? The nine-tailed fox. Naruto answered the female blonde's question, which shocked her immensely. The same nine tails Jinchuriki which disappeared 3 years ago. I thought the Akatsuki got to you before they got the case cage. They did not. I sensed your life force fading, so I came and found you dead in this cave. It seems the Akatsuki extracted the two tails like they did the one-tailed raccoon dog. Naruto answered as he prepared to leave. You have your life back, Yugito Ni. Do not waste it, for I may not be there to resurrect you. Before he could leave, however, Yugito grabbed hold of his cloak. Wait, please, take me with you. The Cloud abandoned me to die. I don't have anywhere else to go. Fine, you may come along, but if I give you an order, be sure to follow it. I will not tolerate insubordination if I see one. You have my word. Good, follow me. Naruto said, and Yugito got up and followed the king to his destination. Naruto's group were walking to a decimated forest area. None in his group questioned his decision. Naruto wanted to test the Akatsuki's strength and skills by facing the immortal duo of Hidan and Kakuzu. When the duo were in sight, Yugito's anger activated and she prepared to get payback. "Calm down, Yugito," Naruto ordered the former Jinchuriki. "You are still weak from having been resurrected, and don't forget you lost the two tails. I want to see their skills personally. Do not interfere," and Naruto left with the Narada to confront the Akatsuki. "Is he always like this?" Yugito asked Gurren and Shizuka. "Beats me," Shizuka replied. "What? But, you're his wife. How come you don't know? We haven't even been a couple for a week, okay? Not always. He just wants to see how powerful these Akatsuki are compared to his own powers." Gurren replied. "You think he can win?" Yugito asked Gurren, who just smirked. "Oh, I know he will win. My master killed Yagura and Orochimaru as easy as a knife cutting butter. They don't stand a chance," Gurren said as she saw her master stand in front of the Akatsuki duo. Hidan and Kakuzu stood face to face against Naruto. "Hey, who the hell are you, fucker?" Hidan demanded of the blonde king. "Who I am is of no concern, Hidan, worshipper of Jashin." Naruto replied. "Let us see today if your god can fulfill his promise of immortality. You dare doubt the power of Lord Jashin, you blasphemer. I will sacrifice you in his honor. You worship a weak god. Otsutsuki weaklings who cannot even kill a dragon. I am not blinded by these false promises. I possess power far above their own." Naruto replied, which made Hidan angrier. "That's it. Prepare to die, you fucker. I wonder if your head can give me any good money," Kakuzu said as he too prepared to fight. "Money-stricken fools. When the riches of the earth belong to me, I lost the desire for such things. Wonder if my wives would enjoy golden bikinis though?" Naruto merely said, to no one in particular, just as Hidan came to attack. In the forest, Team 8 led by Kakashi, who was filling in for Asuma, watched the Cloaked King fighting the two Akatsuki. "Damn, he's here too. I have to make sure these guys don't get in his way," Kakashi thought as he saw the Cloaked Man again. "Who is that guy? Any ideas, Shikamaru?" Choji asked his best friend, who shook his head no. "This is the same man who killed Orochimaru. Be on your guard, team. We can wait till both parties exhaust each other, then we can move in," Kakashi ordered as they watched the fight progressed. Naruto unleashed a gust of wind so powerful that Hidan was sent flying away. Kakuzu came with a hard, earthen punch, but Naruto grabbed it as if it was nothing. Then, Naruto gave Kakuzu a hard knee kick in the stomach and kicked Kakuzu far away. Hidan came back for round 2 and Naruto forged a sword from the iron under the earth, then threw it at Hidan, sending him flying away. Naruto used his power to lift boulders and threw them at Kakuzu, with the latter trying his best to avoid them. Naruto avoided Hidan's deadly strikes as he came in charging. Hidan managed to land a hit on Naruto, but the blonde's armor wing cloak prevented any damage. Naruto sent a wave of lightning that electrocuted Hidan and then threw him at a nearby tree. "No more messing around," Kakuzu said, taking off his cloak, and the 4 masked beasts that contained his heart came out. Fire style. Intelligent hard work. Kakuzu's wind and fire masks then shot out a massive combo attack at Naruto. Naruto made a wave of water come out of the ground and nullify the fire. Naruto lifted one of the masked beasts using his gravity power and then brought it closer to him and burned it to ash. Shadow tentacles started attacking Kakuzu, who tried his best in avoiding them. Naruto then summoned 4 ginormous worms which attacked Hidan. In the midst of their confusion, Naruto then gravity pushed them to nearby trees and the worms were approaching ever closer. All the while the fight raged on, Kakashi was making notes of the mystery man's powers and abilities. In all of his life, never had he encountered someone as powerful as this man before, and his power was frightening to see. The duo managed to save themselves just in time before the worms ate them, but Naruto threw them to nearby rocks. Naruto came in front of Kakuzu, then delivered a series of punches that badly injured the man. Naruto unfolded his wings and flew up as the masked beasts came to protect Kakuzu. Naruto unleashed a hail of swords and spears, and the party below were trying to their best to avoid being slaughtered. Kakashi couldn't believe his eyes. Wings. He had seen shark people before, but people with wings was new. And the ability to shoot multiple swords and spears was just another thing to add in this mystery man's long list of abilities. Naruto then unleashed a wave of electricity so intense at Kakuzu that it destroyed his life. The lightning mask of Kakuzu came to restore his life, and both the fire and wind mask came to back Kakuzu, a wired monster. Kakuzu unleashed a huge fire-wind combo attack, but Naruto phased through it. Well, this is slightly more impressive than I originally anticipated. And to top it all off, I now have the perfect host for death. A white portal opened that unleashed a powerful gust of wind, and the screams of tortured souls could be heard. A metallic box attached itself to Hidan, then releasing metallic tentacles that restrained his arms and legs and opened his mouth. Then, an iron rod pierced through Hidan's heart as small iron tentacles started to go inside Hidan's body. Tears of pain came out Hidan's eyes as blood started pouring out from his eyes, nose and ears. His skin was turning to steel as flesh burned and blood boiled. Bones turned to powder and excreted out as iron bones replaced them. Hidan's intestines exploded out as wires and iron tendrils started to adjust themselves. Time for the main act, Naruto said, then his eyes glowed as he chanted a magic spell. He finished the chant and said, "Your seals are loosened but not yet broken till your oath to me is spoken. I summon you forth to be tied to a host. Come, death, you who are tied to me." A spectral, hooded figure with a scythe came and infused with Hidan, speeding up the transformation. In a white explosion that splattered blood everywhere, everyone saw Hidan turn into a machine. Black Racer, activated. The machine, now identified as the Black Racer, spoke in a menacing, cold and emotionless voice. A.N. For Black Racer's design, check Dragon Emperor Chapter, Duel of the Uchiha. Eliminate him, Black Racer. Naruto ordered, pointing to Kakuzu. Target identified. Objective. Eliminate. The Black Racer spoke as it made a scythe out of red energy and began charging at Kakuzu. The terrified Nuke Nin tried using multiple jutsu, but the Black Racer wasn't bothered. The Avatar of Death struck Kakuzu through the chest and Naruto unleashed red lightning on Kakuzu. Unlimited power. Naruto shouted as all remaining hearts of Kakuzu were destroyed. The corpse of the zombie ninja fell down in a similar manner to Orochimaru. Naruto laughed maniacally now that he had control of the Black Racer. His power was truly unrivaled in this world now. Come out, Leaf Shinobi. I sense your presence. Kakashi told the team to follow his orders, but Choji came out in his large expanded form and began rolling towards Naruto. The blonde slapped Choji away and saw Shikamaru Nara attempt to ensnare him, but he flew away. Naruto controlled the iron to spring up and attack Shikamaru, with the lazy Jonin managing to avoid them. Ino came in with a super chakra punch to hit Naruto, but the latter had his wings defend him. He grabbed Ino by the throat and threw her down. Choji then threw Kakashi, who readied a Chidori, but Naruto phased through the attack. Shikamaru tried to catch him with the shadow possession jutsu, but Naruto was the better master of shadows. He made the shadow of the trees spread, which confused the Nara. Then, Naruto unleashed lightning on Shikamaru, electrocuting him. Naruto made huge streams of fire, which Kakashi managed to counter with a massive water wall jutsu. The Black Racer came behind Kakashi and kicked the white-haired Jonin hard in the back. Kakashi was sent flying and kept flying higher as the Black Racer continued to punch and kick him. Naruto then kicked Kakashi down and he landed hard. Choji tried to punch Naruto, but the blonde used his Susanoo to grab Choji's punch. Naruto then summoned two swords which struck Choji in non-vital areas of his stomach and then a powerful wind attack to send him down. Ino attempted a mind transfer jutsu, but Naruto sensed her. He choked Ino, then lifted her up and dropped her. Naruto then electrocuted all four of them to make them surrender and stop after 30 seconds. You lost today and you know it. Enjoy the fact that I allowed you to live even though I can kill you right now. Naruto flew away with the Black Racer, returning to the realm of the dead. Naruto came to his group, who witnessed everything, and told them that they'll be leaving to continue their eastern adventures. The next destination was the Hidden Stone.
That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, share and do comments.